PHL Season 2 is upon us, and with it comes a brand new format designed to be in step with the format of the official DreamHack Major. In this format, Cash Out and Final Round will both be used throughout the entire season, with the most important matches being reserved for 3v3 Final Round in true finals fashion. The regular season plays out over 3 weeks, with playdays on both Wednesdays and Saturday, but this time around, the days go hand in hand. Wednesday playdays will play out like the normal playdays from past seasons, with shuffled groups each week playing 5 cash-out matches and earning points based on placement and kills. But these points will work to sort teams into groups for Saturday. The best 4 teams from Wednesday will be in Group A, the second 4 teams in Group B, with the bottom 4 teams in Group C. This is where the majority of points will be earned. The groups will play a single match of cash out, then the top 2 play a final round best of 3 for first and second. Bottom 2 playing for third and fourth, the top 2 from Group B play for fifth and sixth, etc. down the line. At the end of league play, the top 8 teams will qualify for their regional championships. Unlike previous seasons, there will be no inter-regional competition. We'll save that for the major. Now let's talk about the championships. Spots 1 through 6 will be locked for champs, but 7th through 10th place will compete in a last chance play-in. The championships are going to be using the same format from day 2 of the major, with 2 stages. Stage 1 will be a series of cash-out matches with final round 3v3 matches to eliminate 4 teams, leaving the top 4. Stage 2 will use the match point system, also known as the heat system used in the major. 4 teams will play cash-out, with the top 2 teams progressing into 2 final round matches, teams earning a point for every final round win. A winner will be crowned when a team reaches 5 final round wins. Welcome to PHL Season 2. We hope you enjoy the ride.
That's 2 from graduating. He's done it! He's finding success in the middle of this throw. Absolute calamity from this.
The winch is going to stall it, and he's done it! He's done it!
Unbelievable from OG. Carries the team. How has Carnifex got away with that? He even gets the second.
Hello and welcome everybody to PHL Season 2 Playdate number 4. Somehow we're at Playdate number 4. My name is Rio. I am joined by Mr. Dreadalicious. How are you doing today, Mr. Dread?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I'm excited for another electrifying night of PHL. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. And honestly, the EU games were intense, but the NA games always hold a special place in my heart for being a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more intense, and just a little bit more fun. So we've got a fun show for you today. Let's take a look at our Group A, and who will be playing in the first match of Cash Out. You want to run us through all the list here, Dread?
Yeah, we got Space Station Gaming, also known as SSG, going up against Task Managers and Nightmare and Young Guns. I mean, all these look stacked, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a stacked group. They are seeded based off of their placement on Wednesday. So these are our top teams. We've got the Young Guns in here who are a little bit lower down in the rankings, but honestly, they love to put on an amazing show for us. So if you love a sledgehammer, if you love chaos, they are quite a fun group. And honestly, it's going to be intense to see the first chaotic Cis Horizon as we get into it. That'll be our first map, Cis Horizon. It's always a fun one. Looks like you got some people joining us in the background.
They're excited to watch PHL as well. They love the video games.
That's awesome. Well, it'll be a good family-friendly show because everybody explodes into coins and chaos. But we will load into Cis Horizon here momentarily, and then we will determine who our top 2 teams will be, and we'll carry them on to the 3v3s up next. So, like we showed earlier, there are some amazingly stacked teams. We've got Nightmare in the mix. We've got, who else was there? Space Station Gaming, Young Guns, and the Task Managers. We have now loading into Cis Horizon, and we'll get started with all of the chaos here momentarily. And there's the nice museum, the campus ground as well, the nice little fun bounce pad in the middle. Everybody's loaded in, and we're about to get started.
All right. What do you think everybody's going to be running, Rio? You think we're going to be running some pretty standard loadouts for this cash out match?
Just kind of looking at all of the specs right now, it looks pretty standard. You know, I see the dash, the winch, and a little bit of DMAT, a little bit of healing there, and from some teams. But we'll just have to watch, as right now Nightmare have started their advance. They're about to clash directly with the Young Guns. They're on each other's path. These have slowed down just a little bit. They haven't really shown any aggression just yet, but there it all starts to pop off. Young Guns take a little bit of damage, but they immediately get healed back up. A Ruby out of position just goes down in that stairwell. The stairwells are always deadly and not the place you want to be alone. Tiger now forced to go down a level. On the other side of the mask, it looks like the task managers have just been wiped, but Tiger taking some shots off, gets Uni down with the 2 shots of the repeater, but he is surviving at just 5 HP. It will allow him to get his teammates back up, but they're going to be a little bit delayed as Nightmare have taken the vault and are bringing it over to Cash Out A.
Yeah, explosive first fight there. Great shots from Tiger just to stay alive and not get wiped there. But there's another fight breaking out here. Got some shots going off with the BFR, trying to get a little poke damage off. Nothing too crazy happening yet. Rice is just a little cut off from their team, but looks like they're going to make it back across there. And Task Manager's just trying to find a way to get in here. We're going to open up a roof here with some C4 and just take a peek inside. Not really sure where Nightmare is hanging out. There's another team coming in, though.
Yeah, I love Rice.
A little bit of this.
Going off in the corner, got the F-car in his hands, ready to deal some damage, and here it goes. He has to bail off of that. I'm sorry, she has to bail off of that. Going back up again and dealing some more damage, just staying on the bounce pad with the last remaining person of the task managers. It doesn't look pretty. I would get out of there, but they're continuing to fight, taking a sledgehammer to the face from Mr. Ruby Labubu. So the Young Guns have decided to dive in here towards Cash Out A. They want to bring some chaos, bring some calamity, but they are a little bit low. They're going to try and find any opening that they can on Nightmare. It seems like they're just staggering, just waiting for that little bit of time, a little bit of opening. All of Nightmare has the height advantage, but there goes Tiger with the repeater, bringing one down and severing their connection toward the other team. He's finding his next victim, a hammer swing away. Can they bring down Nightmare? There it goes. A bonk will secure it. He's going to be able to grab the flip, and Young Guns looking good. Nightmare figuring out what the hell just happened.
Yeah, great fight from Young Guns there. Once Ruby Labubu comes out with that hammer there, once you close the distance, it's hard to get away. And Nightmare unable to get away there. Young Guns has flipped that point in their favor. Let's see what's going on the other side of the map here, though. Space Station's going to hold on to this point at the last second. That pad coming through to stall it a little bit. And Metro's going to end up going down to Lamp. Lamp rocking that SA-12 there. And huge fight coming out of Space Station Gaming. They're just going to wipe up task managers there, and they're going to keep that point. Good stall with that jump pad there.
Yeah, good stall indeed. We move over to Honor's perspective as he's rocking that 93R. He's still on the hunt for anybody with the name of Nightmare. He did poke and prod a little bit, but it looks like he's bouncing back over. The vaults have spawned. Everybody is finding their positioning, finding their setup, and it looks like vault number 3 is where Young Guns and multiple teams are actually headed right now. We might see 3 teams clash at this, while SSG are left all on their own to fight for the other vault against no one. Now Honor just kind of staying in the middle there, moving over to Tiger's perspective now. Look at that beautiful Ruby sticker. You know that he's been playing for a bit as well. I think that's season 6 he showed off there. And yeah, they're making their approach to Cash Out C.
Yeah, we'll see what's going on here. They're just trying to get some information. They can kind of peek at Space Station coming in. Some big poke damage coming out with that repeater there from Tiger. Tiger's got some good shots with that repeater. Space Station slowing down on their push a little bit because they know that they're just waiting for him. Look at them set up on Charlie there. breaking down a little bit with that hammer, just trying to go down a level. And they're just waiting these guys out. Space Station just trying to fish around here. Can't quite find him yet, though.
This is a wild standoff as nobody wants to plug just yet, and there's the hammer coming down, swinging on Space Station Gaming. Lamp goes for the winch, but it didn't connect. There goes Ruby falling down. Unfortunately, you got to have the height advantage there, and Ruby went down, but Honor was able to connect on his shots. Lamp, unfortunately, gets the res back up, and it's not looking good for Young Guns as Honor having to dash out of there. The last remaining person on their team thought that they had that, but sadly it looks like his teammates are gonna have to coin back in, and he's still taking damage on his retreat. Space Station Gaming looking good as they're running out the clock. Nightmare as well look pretty uncontested so far.
Yeah, I don't know if that was luck or just really good movement out of Lamp there, but he just barely got out of that swing from Lubu Bubu there that managed to just knock himself down one level. But now we're looking at the other side of the map here, which Nightmare still holds this cash out. And we got Young Guns now on the other side of the map as well, looking at this point, and Task Managers kind of looking around, see how they can get in there. Nightmare just kind of hanging out on the stairs, trying to defend this point and wait out the time. They got two teams coming in from both directions here. One's coming on. We got a little bit of Goostall coming out. Not a whole lot of action coming out yet, though.
Nightmare have done a great job of kiting this, but can they hold on for just a little bit longer? Sadly, Mr. Labubu going down in that steal attempt, and there's the last of the Young Guns. Going down 22 seconds to think about their mistakes as a steal is being attempted on the other side of things by the Task Managers. The Dome Shield has gone down, tons of damage, but they're able to hold it off. A great flip, and now they just need to hold on for about 15 seconds and they'll be able to hold it. But look at this, they're going down 1, 2, and Mr. Wade being the last one in here. All of Nightmare just ready to go for it. Built themselves a nice little rooftop as well with Goo holding it off. No, the winch claw just pulls it out. They have to stick this right now if they want to get the flip on it. They are holding it. I think that they have enough time. They might have it. They grabbed it at the literal last second, propelling Nightmare to the top of that leaderboard.
Wow, that's a really important play for Nightmare there. That puts him in a really good spot for the rest of this match here. There's not a lot of time left. This last box 6 is about to open up right now. 5 is about to get plugged. Maybe. Task Manager's trying to stop him, but he's got the juke boots. Oh, it doesn't quite bounce, and Task Manager's going to get that plug instead.
Heartbreaking, but Ruby taking some swings, finds one in his hammer. Can he find another? He goes for his teammate. This is a good move. He does have a little bit of space. His teammate's going to go for the steal. I think that they're going to be able to get this flip pretty uncontested, as it looks like most of them are starting to go over towards vault number 6. But the chaos is still going down. We see the mines going down on the cash out. 18K at stake here. Ruby Labubu going a floor below, wanting to drop it if he can. This is an interesting setup for all of Young Guns. They need to just hold on as all of the Task Managers have arrived. There's the glitch grenade trying to bring it off, but that mine goes off as well, setting the entire cash out ablaze. Wade trying to find some shots off, didn't connect them enough, but Mrs. Rice connects on the last shots, brings him down. The attempted steal is going off. There's the glitch grenade. It does drop down a floor. The chaos, the calamity, everything is happening right now, but the Task Managers are here. They want to try and grab it, but there's the winch claw and there's a hammer. They try and get it, but Ruby going down in this battle. They get the res off, but here's SSG as well. There's now smoke on the field. It is just popping off. Grad, Lamp getting 1 kill, 2 kills. Now they're going to hold it and grab this steal as well. The Young Guns want to try and stall it, do anything that they can, but the goo is like a fortress that they couldn't penetrate in. Pushing in, they're following up with all of their kills. SSG looking good, definitely wanting to be one of those top 2 teams. But what's happening right now? They're trying to hold it, but a flip is going off by the Young Guns. Did they just get it? What is happening, Dread?
Oh man, there's so much going on here. Everybody is mosh pitting around this last point here. I thought for sure SSG had that, but Young Guns coming at the last second with a sneaky steal while Grad is trying to stay alive. Young Gun's still holding it for now. So much explosions going off with the mines and the C4, and it is only Nightmare left alive with no time left. Young Guns is going to actually keep this at the very end of the round.
Okay. Well, I was sure that SSG was going to hold that. They got the flip. They looked so confident. There were so many kills there as well that I thought that they had secured just enough, but no. The flip coming in from the Young Guns. They did not want to give up just yet, and you saw them execute that perfectly. The goo has just been a nightmare for everybody in there, and that's a great interlude towards Nightmare as well, as they were the top team at the end, bringing in 41K in cash. Look at the kills from Uni
Wow.
and Gremlin. They should not be allowed to do that. The rest of the teams just fed them. Like that's what happened here. Like that is
Wow.
an impressive amount of kills.
Yeah, the amount of kills coming out of Nightmare is crazy there. It just goes to show how so much of a different play style is needed in cash out than it is in final round 3v3s. The timing and the pacing that these teams can pull off makes a huge difference in these matches. And Nightmare just showing a masterclass of how to pace themselves in that match there.
Yeah, it really turned into a timing thing. You saw them just kind of get their momentum. They just found it and then rolled with it. They were able to get into cash outs at the last second and grab it, get the flip, and just it really made for a good show. They're very aggressive, and I think that that's what bred them to or brought them towards the victory in this first cash out game. So, wild placement match for going into the 3v3s. We're gonna have the Young Guns battling it out against Nightmare. So we've got a top tier team that got I don't remember the total, but I think it was like clearly almost 30 kills in that last match, going
Yeah,
against a
it was up there.
sledgehammer. So I don't know, but I think that I'm quite excited about just diving into those teams. Honestly, it's going to be a intense 3v3.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch, especially with Ruby Labubu over there on Young Guns. I mean, such a wild card of a player, bringing out the hammer for the cash out rounds, but who knows what's gonna come out for the 3v3. I mean, they play a lot of different weapons.
Yeah, they do. He can sometimes bring the KS-23. I've also seen him rock, what is it? Maybe the Lewis gun. He's really just dynamic, and it's fun to have a player like that. It's unfortunate that they're so low in the leaderboard right now because I think that what we see from the top tier teams is the fact that they can be dynamic, the fact that they can
Mhm.
change things up when they need to. Early in the scene, there was this mentality that no, you really only have to play meta, and there is no room for somebody with a sledgehammer. But as we moved on, we've shown that that is a viable strategy. All of you melee fans out there, you have a place. You can perform in this scene, especially on the EU side as well. We have another team rocking the sledge, so there is a place for you. We even saw you in the closed qualifiers. You're kind of eating good right now, except for the sword. Sorry, sword people, but the rest of it, it really kind of rocking right now. So I appreciate the mix up, and I really hope that it does kind of lead them to this. And if they're able to beat Nightmare here, the amount of points that they get will absolutely propel them up that leaderboard.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch, and that also just to add on to that point too, even the specializations as well. For example, Winch Claw, but we've also seen Charge and Slam come out. We've seen some Goo Gun, even just on the
Yeah.
heavy side, Heal Beam, DMAT on the medium. We've even seen some Invis coming out on the lights. It's pretty wide open as far as the meta goes this season, it seems.
Without a doubt. And now we're looking at the maps we will see today. Hopefully, we'll see all three, but we're going to get started on Skyway Stadium. An interesting one, not always picked. It's got some interesting variations, and then we'll move on to Sis Horizon, the map that we were just at. Following it up by Las Vegas to finish it all out, if we make it to a best of three. And Dread, what do you think? Are we going to see three maps in this matchup, or this will be over real quick?
Oh man, it's so tough to say. I think numbers wise and just on paper, it's pretty heavily in Nightmare's favor.
Yeah.
Um, but anything can happen, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
especially in these 3v3s. I think if a lot of these upsets have happened, a lot of them happened during the 3v3s. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have also gotten word that Ruby is doing a hot tub stream right now, maybe a little bit before, and apparently he's jumping in his hot tub every death. So I don't know. I got to give the man a little bit of points for his showmanship as well. So you got that going for him, going against Nightmare. Could you ask for anything more as we have loaded into Skyway Stadium? These two titans of teams are about to battle it out. The vault has spawned, and honestly, it looks like Nightmare have just decided to take control. All of the young guns want to hang out in the buildings. Maybe they've got a game of Halo or something. Maybe they're playing Arc Raiders. That's what they're doing. They're staying in the buildings, playing a nice little game of Arc Raiders. I get it. I understand. It's a fun weekend. But you're here to play the finals.
I just want to point out too, speaking of Charge and Slam, we do see Ruby Labubu on that Charge and Slam. So we'll see how that
Okay.
affects the match here. So far, not too much happening here. Both teams just kind of standing off. Nightmare does have a pretty good spot on this point. They got that as early as they possibly can, getting up there. But look at Ruby Labubu with the KS and the Charge and Slam, already putting that cash out box exactly where they want it, and forcing Nightmare to go the other direction. They're going to try to chase them down here.
Yeah, this is a great setup. I really appreciate the KS-23. It's just amazing. I don't know if they have figured it out just yet. He's waiting over there. Honor just believes that somebody is there, waiting like a dog waiting for his master that will never return. He throws that gateway, has now figured out that maybe this isn't the best approach. But he's paranoid. There is something going on. He does not want to move away from that direction, but instead he now gets a clue and finds some shots off, bringing them down against Nightmare, but not enough to connect just yet. Going back into the building, we see Honor and the rest of his team just holding it out, but a steal is being attempted almost immediately by the Young Guns directly in the middle. You see the barricade set up, trying to buy themselves a little bit of space, but Gremlin rocking that Titan, trying to get a little bit closer. He just has to connect a few of his shots, and Honor is already down. Ruby taking some damage as well, but there's an RPG that goes off in his face, and reloading as well. He's ready to deal it right back at him. He has that RPG. They're on top of each other. There's the winch claw pulling him out, unable to connect his shots. This would be his perfect opportunity as one Nightmare goes down, two Nightmares go down. It's all on Uni as he pops an invis. He does get by himself a little bit of time as they are making their approach right now, throwing up another barricade. This will be their opportunity. Uni just has to stall, but two of his teammates are down. There it is. There's popping it off. Can he stall it? No!
Wow. Just the recovery from Young Guns there is just amazing to watch. And there goes the Charge and Slam in play too. Gets winched immediately into the Charge and Slam to turn that around. Lots of healing coming from Tiger there to get his team back up and running. And I think they're going to keep this point here. There is not a lot of time on it. They got some fire on there. They can't really go for this. All of Nightmare is up now, but they don't really have an opportunity to get in there. Uni taking a lot of damage here, trying to get some damage back, but he can't quite find it. Young Guns jumping right back in. Honor ends up going down to Uni, though. Still a big fight popping off, and two members from Young Guns end up going down. Honor the Pure and Tiger is down. It's only Ruby Labubu now. He's going to opt to fight this, maybe. Oh, and he ends up taking one sniped with the KS on Uni. That does a lot of damage to Lights. Can't really peek that for too long if they connect. Does a lot of damage, but Young Guns still taking the wipe, but they're taking the first cash out of the map.
Yeah, it is such a nice weapon to see that repeater. Two shots to Lights, and if you can really get them in their crosshairs, it's such a painful weapon to be on the receiving end of. So it's cool to see. I'm never able to master it. I spent a whole week and I was just like, I'm going to be a repeater main now, and I gave up. But, you know, that is life, and I will go back to my CL40 and enjoy every second of it. As we bring our attention back to the game, Honor throwing a gateway up does bring the rest of his teammates over, but they're taking some shots, and he has to go in Viz, buy himself a little bit of space, get the heals back up. The engagements are strong right now from Nightmare. They really just want to bring the pain, make this as challenging as they can for the Young Guns on the advance. And I hate to say it as well, but right now, Nightmare, the height advantage, everything is going to make this approach so difficult for the Young Guns.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because Nightmare, I feel like they move so much faster around the map than Young Guns do. But Young Guns play so close together and they're holding hands really well that once Nightmare pounces and kind of gets in on the attack, Young Guns, their whole team is kind of built around counterattacking. It feels like with that, with the heal beam coming out and the charge and slam. I feel like it's used a lot more defensively than it is offensively. Still not a whole lot going on here, though. It's going to be tough to get into this point. They got a long ways to go, and Nightmare has all of that high ground locked down up there. Tiger trying to get some pot shots in, just trying to get some damage in while his team moves in through the building here. They're going to try to come in from the bottom. A lot of opportunities open up with this KS, though. You can just shoot through the ceiling just like this here. Don't need to spend your C4. Don't need to spend your RPG. You can bring that cash box all the way down to you like we see here, and they're just going to go for it. A little bit of bait action. Nightmare kind of coming down. They're going to bait it again. Barricades coming out. Nightmare doesn't really want to take the bait yet, though.
Oh, this is a great attempt at the flip. Somehow Uni went down in that. Went down from Honor. This is a great battle against the lights. It's going to scramble Nightmare just a little bit. The flip might happen right now. The Young Guns are going for it. Plenty of heals going off as well, but sadly they don't have the height. They're jumping up there to battle them directly. It's exactly what they need to do. It's a 2 versus 2 at the moment. Lasagna taking a lot of damage. Gremlin trying to go for a res, but he's unable to.
Oh.
Gremlin being the last person up as well. He needs to stall this for just a little bit. This is their opportunity to get the flip. He's got the goo. He does get the goo stall. He buys his teammates all of the cash as Ruby is the last person remaining, going up and down, trying to connect their shots. It is a battle of KS versus the Titan, and sadly, the Titan hits just a little bit harder in the right hands. Gremlin getting that final kill on the Young Guns. They're going to get their teammate back up, and Nightmare looking good back in this game, balancing it out, or we're going to go to one more cash out.
Yeah, Gremlin, very interesting running Goo Grenade instead of Dome Shield there. But it works really well for those stalls, just like we've seen. And you can still use it defensively, even if you don't have Dome Shield. You can still pop that goo up and hide behind it. I think it works really well with that Titan, especially, just because you can jiggle peek with that Titan, get some nice shots off. And ended up saving him the point there. Kind of a big battle coming off here before the box is even tapped.
Ooh.
Big damage going down on Gremlin from Honor with that LH1. But he might go down in the trade. He just barely makes it out. Lasagna trying to get over to get some health back here. Getting hunted down by Ruby Labubu. Just barely makes it out. But Ruby Labubu's on the hunt still. Oh, you might win this one here, but it's not a 1v1 anymore. Oh, and Tiger comes to help out Ruby Labubu to take that fight. But here comes the rest of Nightmare coming in to try to clean this up. Defib does end up going off.
This is such a sloppy battle, back and forth. Everybody is so unprepared, and you can just tell the dips, the diving. Ruby with the charge finally sends Nightmare packing. But oh my god, that was so insane. There's no form here. This is just one teammate goes down, the rest start to scramble, and then they figure out, oh my god, we gotta win this battle, and that's what you're seeing. There's a Witch Claw going off 2 inches in front of each other, popping off. That Titan shots are great, but not enough to stop the charge and slam. Amazing, beautiful, wonderful finals gameplay. I'm running out of adjectives, but just amazing.
Yeah, it makes these fights so explosive. They're all using such high burst damage guns. We got the KS, we got the Repeater, we got the Titan, and we got the LH1. There's just so much burst damage guns. Everybody's trying to bob and weave to dodge shots and hit flick shots, and it's just makes these fights so interesting. But we got Ruby Labubu already down here. Nightmare's going to try to flip this over. And I don't think they're going to get much resistance here while Young Guns is trying to recover. Nightmare does get that flop, and they're going to go on the defense here. Going to immediately take that high ground. And Tiger ends up getting found and taken down as well as soon as Ruby Labubu gets up, so that they still only have 2 members on their team. And they're running out of time here to attack this point. What do you think, Rio?
Yeah, this is really kind of scary because just losing one person sets everything at such an imbalance, and they need to find a pick, a kill, anything, any opening right now. But we're running down this cash out. It is almost halfway done. They're still down a member, and I think they're just going to try and wait it out for Tiger to come back in. But they're playing it really aggressively, and this could be at their disadvantage because they're going to push in there, and one of them could go down. But they're going to try and force all of Nightmare to dive on the point. This is a good steal. Somehow they got the flip uncontested, and now Tiger is back in the battle. They want to try and get this popping one shot off. The Titan needs to hit its mark. Uni getting one kill on Honor. Following it up, they need to get a kill back, but the time is running low. There's another kill, all on the shoulders of Tiger to try and stall this, maybe get a res off on his teammate, but no, he's taking damage off screen, and Lasagna gets it. I don't think that they're going to have any time once the Young Guns come back to do anything. This is looking like Nightmare going to take map number 1.
Man, it's just we were just talking about how these could go any other way, and man, on paper it looked like it was going to be a lot more favored for Nightmare, but wow, that looked a lot closer than I expected it to be.
It really was close. I thought the Young Guns were about to put on an insane performance before. When they got that first cash out, it seemed like they were going to dominate the lobby, but Nightmare, no, they took their time. They wanted to figure out their strategy. They wanted to figure out the Young Guns mainly, and as soon as they did, the rest of the map looked really good in their favor. So Nightmare, maybe they're playing good. Maybe it was the map advantage. I also think Skyway is a little bit more of a biased map as well because it's got some crazy height advantage spots, and we saw them basically take advantage of that in every opportunity. But let's break down these kills as well. Nightmare bringing them back up as well, just a little bit, hitting a little bit harder, but overall pretty balanced. I think a nice good way to get started on our 3v3s.
Yeah, it was the fights were a lot closer than I expected him to be too, especially like in the beginning of the map when you see him moving towards the boxes. Nightmare feels like they're moving a lot faster than Young Guns were, but as soon as the fights break out, um, there was trades going out on both sides, and both sides running those really high burst damage guns. So it's really who's landing their shots and who's not getting out of position is going to win those fights. And Nightmare wasn't ready for Young Guns to bring it back with that KS and that charge and slam, which turned a couple of those fights in their favor, I think, just from those alone.
Yeah, no, it definitely kind of shoving a KS-23 in your face makes it quite difficult at times. That KS is also kind of hard to hit at close range, so I got to give him credit for that as well. But yeah, what a great way to get started. I think that you said it perfectly, where it turned into a battle of whoever got the first pick, whoever found that first hole, and it was just a teammate going down or just kind of providing that opening, and then they were able to kind of capitalize on that right from there. So an interesting performance. I'm curious to see if they're able to do it on Sis Horizon, as we're going to load into that now, because this is a different map. It's very different from where we just were. So I want to say that it's more of a level playing field for these two teams. And honestly, I have no idea which way it'll go, but I have a feeling it's going to go to 3 cash outs.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree. I think Sis Horizon 2 is one of, if not the most balanced map in the game. When it comes to long range versus close range fights, when it comes to spawns and cash out locations, it's pretty even. So we'll see if there's any change up in loadouts here. It looks like Ruby Labubu did opt to go back to Winch from Charge and Slam. We'll see how that changes the way they play here.
Yeah, it's a good change up. It is kind of map dependent, and I was saying, touching on this earlier, that kind of our more developed teams are the ones that are able to change up their meta, change up their strategy, change up everything that they need to from a map to map versus, and also a team to team kind of change up. So it's fun to watch these tiny little micro changes that really define the high level finals. So it'll be really exciting to see if that works for them. I did enjoy the charge and slam, to be honest with you, especially that last little clutch. But Nightmare seem in control right now. Uni dashing around the map. They've left all of the Young Guns on the other side of things. They were trying to control it, maybe push them towards A. A is a good place to get started. A couple of places to drop it down, a little bit closed off, more towards the corner. Be curious to see if Nightmare keeps it here, maybe tries to winch it out a little bit. But right now, it seems like they're opting to just hold it.
Yeah, and Gremlin did swap back to Dome Shield instead of the Goo Grenading in this time. Ruby Labubu back on the Pyronade Sledgehammer as well. I'm curious to see what the thought process is behind the Dome Shield and the Goo swap, though. I wonder if that's map dependent as well. Big damage coming out on Ruby, though, as they're trying to find a way in here, breaking through some walls and some floors with that hammer, trying to find different ways onto this point. But Nightmare holding down that high ground. We're going to winch it inside to force Nightmare down to come down to them. I don't know if we're going to bait it or we're going to go for it. Looks like we're just going to go for it here. The Goo is stopping them. Gremlin taking a lot of damage trying to get in. Has to try to use his RPG to get inside. Takes a lot of self-damage from it. But Uni does end up taking down Ruby Labubu as he also takes some self-damage from that RPG. Try to shoot Uni. And now it's a 2v3. And they're just trying to get around here. Go
that
for it, Rio.
Self-damage is just so unfortunate. He turned the corner and just pulled the trigger. We've all done it, but not in a battle like this. You want to try and save your health, but there is the steal attempt going on. The Goo walls are so strong. Couple it with a healing beam, and you have a recipe for a flip, and that's what just happened there. But what's happening right now as Nightmare are dying left and right? Uni, the only person remaining, trying to get any kill that he can. He's got his teammate there, but Honor, if he takes this opportunity to push, it could be a perfect opportunity, but no, he doesn't get it, and the res goes off, and they're having to just get everybody back in this. It's looking like this is their last opportunity to hold it off. They do have a nice little Goo Fortress. A steal is being attempted. It's flipped again. What am I watching? They're flipping right in front of each other, and I don't understand it. Finally, Nightmare goes down to a team wipe. I'm speechless.
Wow, that box got flipped a few times at the end there, and it's just, I don't even know what I'm watching anymore at this point. There's so much happening between these two teams. Young Guns able to fight it out in a 2v3 there for a while and almost ended up coming out on top, and then still able to flip that cash out at the last second, right when Ruby Labubu ends up making it back there. It was just crazy. Well played from Young Guns on that first box.
It really was well played. It was kind of a chaotic finish towards that first cash out, but I kind of love it. I love those last second flips when there's just utter chaos and everybody dives on there to try and protect their cash out. Just didn't work in Nightmare's favor, and now they're at a little bit of a disadvantage. You see them moving over towards C, but the gateway is being set up at B. They're going to get the plug. They're going to get this ultimate height in the map as well, and it's going to start to look like this might be starting to turn in Nightmare's favor. Can they hold on? Can they control it for just a little bit longer and get a real match going?
Yeah, I was talking about how balanced this map is. I feel like this is probably one of the hardest points or locations even just to push into, just because of this maximum height spot you can get on top of this glass up here. But they are going to rotate off of it just to get a little bit closer to the box here, while Young Guns tries to find a way in. And with that sledgehammer there, they just have so many opportunities to break through the floors and walls, to come in any direction they really want. Looks like they're going to opt to break it down again. They really want to try to force Nightmare to come down and play at their level. They really want to get him off that high ground. They're going to goo up. So much goo coming out. They're going to make an entire Goo Fortress on all four sides here to block everything off. And they're going to bait it a little bit and gateway out. But Ruby Labubu just barely doesn't make it out through that gateway.
Yeah, Lasagna getting a nice kill on him. That does buy them a little bit more of a kite. Honor now on the ultimate height, and not sure what his plan is. Maybe they're waiting for Ruby to get back in here. But honestly, Lasagna and Gremlin looking strong as they set up on the bottom floor. This will make the approach that much more difficult for all of the Young Guns. They're trying to buy themselves a little bit more time. There's the coin from Ruby, going to come back into this battle. Uni taking a little bit of chip damage, but all of Nightmare still looking strong. They're staying close to each other. They want to try and kite this as long as they can. Need to hold on for about 15 seconds as the approach has started by the Young Guns. They're getting really close. It looks like a mine or a grenade has gone off. There's a lot of damage going down. Tiger on 1 HP. There's the winch pulling him into the claws, into the damage of Gremlin. They're going to get some more damage, but I think that we're going to 3 cash outs just like I predicted.
Wow. Yeah. Nightmare playing a lot more patient there, which I think is a good choice by them because I think they're starting to learn that Young Guns just have so much explosive damage up front, especially with that sledgehammer. They really don't want to drop unless they absolutely have to. And they played that really well, just kind of peeking back and forth from that high ground. And they do end up take that box, and we are going to a tiebreaker box, just like you predicted.
Yep, I love to see it. These teams are stacked. They are going at each other's throats. We're having to use almost all of their coins. Ruby's already used 2 of them. And yeah, it's just intense. I love it when they're at each other's throats, and it just is so close like this is. They're going to get the tap. Nightmare's going to get the tap on vault number 3. Get the gateway as well. I think they're just going to try and bring it to D. But look at this. All of the Young Guns have spawned incredibly close towards vault number 3 and cash out D. And Uni finding some height. Knows he's spotted a little bit of them, but no real damage going down. All of the Young Guns now turning their focus towards just protecting Cash Out D. They want to try and turn it over there, but I think that they're still going to bring it directly to them. They're feeling confident. This is the nightmare I want to see. Nope, never mind. They're not feeling confident. They decided to bail. Probably the better move. You know, confidence comes in many ways and forms, so yeah, they're deciding to turn their focus, get the plug on Cash Out C.
Yeah, we'll see how Young Guns plays this here. I think they've just had some kind of unfortunate timings and deaths where they've really had to wait out for some coins and not able to get to the bodies here. Especially with Ruby Labubu, I feel like your positioning has to be pristine with that sledgehammer because either you're in or you're out. Just like here, you can't, once you're in that mid-range fight, there's nothing you can really do. You got to find a way to either get in there or get out. Otherwise, you just end up taking so much poke damage. But it looks like we're going to play this corner here. Gets a winch, pulls it right over into the right click. Down goes Lasagna. We got another big right click coming. Down goes Gremlin, swinging with the sledgehammer. That is 2 down on Nightmare. It's only Uni now. They're going to start breaking their way down to see if they can flip this. Uni getting lots of distance in between them and him so he can start to wait for his team to get back up.
Yeah, that's a great flip. And honestly, I just feel like people don't realize how much chaos just having a sledgehammer invites into a game like this. You have to be such a proficient player. You have to be able to really rely on your team as well, and it's just something that tilts the entire head of the rest of the community because it's so unpredictable. It's not what you expect. It's not the normal way to play the finals, and I love it. I love seeing what we're seeing. They've got to hold on now. This cash out is halfway there. Lasagna and the rest of his team making their way a little bit towards that stairwell, trying to find any opening that they can, find some information, but the Young Guns have spread out pretty spectacularly. They've got 2 people very close to each other, and it looks like Honor off to the left a little bit. They're smoking it right now. This is a great attempt from Lasagna to come in there, but no, there's the sledge, dropping him down and into the head of the sledge. Gremlin going down as well. Uni remains the last member of his team. He's going to try and get in there, but it looks like an RPG just went off at his feet, and the time is not going to work out as well as the Young Guns are going to get this cash out. Running down the clock, Uni still trying to find a kill. Does get a kill, but followed up immediately by Honor. There's the explosion. There's the bounce as well. And we've got a 1-1.
Wow. Young Guns tying it up to take map 2. Now they are 1-1 in this series. Man, I loved how they played that last cash out there, playing so patient, playing so quiet, just crouching around there, making sure that nobody hears them so they know where they're waiting, and coming in with that big sledgehammer to knock the point down and get some big right click slams to pick off Lasagna there while he's trying to take that point.
Just great teamwork, really good positioning, timing, running down the clock. I love what I'm seeing. Even the kills over here are pretty balanced, slightly in the favor of Young Guns, getting a little bit higher in there, but honestly, it is so close. It's just impressive. It is exactly what I want to see, and we get one more map, and that's going to be Las Vegas, which is quite a fun one to really kind of wrap everything up in. It's kind of a big one. It's a big map, got these big wide open open areas in the middle, but brings everything together inside these buildings. And I personally think it plays really well with the sledgehammer. But what about you? Do you think that this will lean a little bit more towards the young guns, or is Nightmare going to find their footing here?
I think it's still so hard to say. I mean, even with the maps going 1-to-1, it hasn't really answered any questions for me. I think this
Mm.
is still so unpredictable. It can still go either way. It's really fun to watch with the way the Young Guns is playing though, with that sledgehammer especially. I think it's hard for them to get in there when they're on attack, but once they're on
Mhm.
defense and that point is in their control, it's really strong on defense there because then Nightmare has to play into their hands, which is
Mhm.
just works so much in their favor with that sledgehammer.
Yeah, and it's interesting that we're not really seeing any vault fights between these teams. They just kind of either concede it and then take control and force the other team to go to the other cash out. And I think that that's interesting because it's not typical. And I'm curious if we'll see it. We've seen it in 2 maps, so maybe it is their play style. But it just kind of means that the fights are way more concentrated, way more important as well on the actual cash outs themselves. So it makes for a really exciting kind of just clash as we all get into it. And you know what? We have seen 3 cash outs so far in the first 2. I'm going to call it again. We're going to see 3 more on this one. I just don't think that either one of these teams is a dominating force on top of the other. But we'll see. Will it be Caster's curse? Will I eat my words? We're going to find out as we get started on Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we're still running the sledgehammer here. Looks like he might be. We still got winch going. Did not go back to the charge and slam.
Oh,
Oh,
it's a
we're
KS
actually going to the
or SA.
SA-12. Interesting.
And I'm not sure what they're doing either. They're gooing up the cash out. Yeah, even our production is just kind of like, what? What is happening? So it's weird when some of the people that have watched this game the most are confused.
Yeah, I don't know what the thoughts behind that is. I don't know. I didn't see if they put a mine on it either. I didn't even see if he's still running mines, but I don't know. Maybe just to give him a little bit more advantage if they do start running that way, they can try to winch it out of their hands. I'm not sure, but Nightmare has it and they're moving it and they're not going in the direction that they had set up on. So we'll see.
All right, the first engagement's starting to pop off. Ruby and his teammates getting some heals back up, not really committing to anything just yet. This is an interesting fight because they're all right in front of each other, but using the goo and a little bit of the coolants on top of the roof to bob and weave. They're going to grab Honor back up, but it looks like Tiger took a lot of damage there as well. It's going to split the rest of the Young Guns back up. They're going to have to scramble and probably wait for their teammate to coin back in because Nightmare is just all on top of them. This is not looking good. This is looking really sloppy from the Young Guns, but this is an interesting setup as well. They have a pretty much an uphill battle. They have to figure something out real soon.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. Maybe a little miscommunication on the engage there, but now they're going to have to wait for the coin from Tiger again. He's up now. They're going to try to regroup here. And yet again, Nightmare so fast with controlling that high ground. They winch this point out into a pretty tough spot to attack into. Ruby Labubu trying to get it back inside, but gets stopped by that goo coming out. Going to try to knock him down with that red barrel. Red barrel, unfortunately, just bounces right off of the sky bridge there. But pretty good damage coming off from the repeater, but not enough to really make a difference here. They're just going to kind of back off a little bit and heal up. That winch finally comes out to pull it inside. Now Nightmare's going to have to make a play.
Yep, this is a perfect opportunity for the Young Guns to flip it. They winched it in. The goo walls are set up. The attempt is being stolen, and there it goes. They get the flip, but Young Guns, only remaining member, taking a lot of damage. Nightmare just cleaned up Gremlin with 2 kills. Lasagna getting the 3rd. They're going to get the flip, and there's going to be no time for anybody to come in there and get the steal. Look at this clip. Good shots going off. Great use of that repeater.
Yeah, Lasagna, really good awareness there going in and taking some damage from the side. And you saw that Honor was trying to get a flank off there and ended up turning and hit a nice hip fire shot. And with that repeater, it's only 2 shots to take out a light if you're hitting in the body. So ends up taking the fight there pretty heavily in Nightmare's favor. And now we're going to have another box fight here.
Yeah, finally a vault fight. I mean, if Nightmare decide to go for it, Young Guns on the Mega Dome have gotten the tap, getting some shots off. I love the repeater action. It does play for some interesting fights because they're just chipping away at each other. Tiger getting some damage dealt right back to him, having to go back towards the vault. There's a gateway setup. They're bringing it over towards B. All of the team is there in unison. I love how well they're playing together. Gonna get it started. They're knocking it over as well. It has no opportunity to drop, so this could be the opportunity for Young Guns to finally get a nice defensive setup, because it's going to be very difficult for Nightmare to break through this. But you see Uni immediately trying to get some shots off, trying to poke and prod, find any opening that he can. There's a gateway as well to bring him to some height, but time is ticking down, and Young Guns might be kiting this perfectly.
Yeah, we'll see where they decide to play here, because I feel like this point is pretty open with where you can sit here, especially in that hotel. There's so many floors you can sit on. Wow, huge long-range winch coming out onto Lasagna. He just barely lives that, but Gremlins ends up going down in the background there to Tiger. And now it's only Uni and Lasagna. Lasagna is going to get that recovery going. But now they're going to have to sit back and wait again for Gremlins to come back up. And this works really heavy in Young Gun's favor, because we're just about at the halfway point for that box now.
Lasagna entering the oven zone, trying to hide a little bit so that Gremlin can coin back in. But Uni as well has been spotted out. There's the coin from Gremlin. They're now really uphill. They've got to do something if they want to just break out of this, get this in 2 instead of 3. Because who knows which way it will go. Cash out ticking down. Uni rocking that 93R. Explosions going off inside. Gremlin throwing down some C4, but the goo is like a fortress. Everybody going into it. It looks like the flip is being attempted. Can they hold on? Gremlin trying to get some shots off with the BFR. Uni going down in that battle. Gremlin, the last person remaining, pulls out his RPG, does get Ruby, but goes down as well. Sad to see it, but you know what? Just like I predicted, we're going to go to 3 cash outs.
Man, it's almost like you've done this before. You're so good at these predictions. Wow.
It won't last. It won't last. This is a one-off for right now. I don't know how I'm getting lucky.
I just want to point out, I really loved the way that Young Gun played that. I mean, they were just constantly rotating around, just keeping Nightmare on their toes, so they weren't really sure where they were playing from that point, and always making sure that they were close enough to that point and had an opening on it to get into that goo fortress. There was so much goo around that point, but Young Guns made sure that they had a way to get in there and stall that point, and now it worked. We're going to another tiebreaker cash out.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so intense. I pointed out before, they're just not fighting for this vault. They're just kind of conceding it, wanting to control an area. Honestly, in their advantage, if the Young Guns are able to get a setup on a cash out and absolutely just jump Nightmare on there, but it doesn't look like that's what's happening right now, as both teams are definitely exposed. They need to find a little bit more footing. They're running away. The Young Gun sadly gets winched in there. Tiger taking a lot of damage, but what is this? Gremlin going back into a corner and Ruby chasing him down. There's a second one on Gremlin and Lasagna. Uni, their only person remaining. This is wild. They walked right into a trap almost.
Yeah, great recovery from Young Guns there. I'm not sure how Gremlin ended up in there alone, but it looked like he had his whole team following him, and he went in there, got a really nice winch off, but as soon as he got that winch off, the rest of his team were cut off, and he ended up alone, and 2 of them end up going down. But that box still isn't moving. Young Guns needs to capitalize on this while they still can, but Uni's in a pretty good spot here to get some shots off while they're trying to move that box. Does finally get plugged, though, and the timer on that cash out is starting, and they do get Honor back up. And now it's both teams back up and ready to go. Nightmare just kind of regrouping here.
Yeah, Nightmare, though, kind of spread out. They're not really as a group and not as grouped up as the Young Guns are. But there's an RPG that goes off, taking some great damage out of Honor. This might be their opening. There's some explosions going down. They've got some goo as well, buying themselves a little bit of space. But here are the Young Guns. They're directly on the other side of it. The engagement kicks off. The winch block pulls Ruby down. Gremlin getting the kill, following it through the gateway. He is on the hunt, wants to get the chase space, but the flip is being attempted as well. This is a great steal attempt by Nightmare. They are playing aggressive, want to just hold on to this as long as they can. Gremlin taking some shots as well. And look at the heal beam. Lasagna flipping them back and forth. They got caught on fire, but you know, you have a nice little medium there, can heal you right back up, but the intensity dials it right back into it as the Young Guns are ready to engage one more time. Sadly, Honor going down as well.
Yeah, Gremlin with big shots from Tiger there to take out Uni. And now they're pressing that fight there, trying to capitalize on that pick they just got. Gremlin's just desperately trying to get out of there, but doesn't quite make it out. He ends up going down. Now it's Lasagna up again. Lots of goo coming out. He is going to get the revive there on Uni, and the two of them are going to try to stall this point, but it's not going to be in time. They are going to get that flip, and now they're going to try to get Gremlin up here. They still have a little bit of time left, but Uni is doing lots of damage to Tiger. They do end up turning it back into a 3v2.
This is all coming down to it.
Both sides, they just a little bit more time for a flip here. I don't know if they're going to get this stall. The witch isn't enough because the goo blocks the witch from taking it all the way out, and they get that stall back in the favor of Nightmare, and Nightmare takes map 3, excuse me.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? That was so crazy. In the last few seconds, the goo wall, fortress cave, whatever you want to call it, it secured them that win. Everybody's rocking the goo these days, it seems, and that was just crazy. The winch to pull it out there. They got the flip right on Young Guns. I thought the Young Guns had that, but just diving into that chaotic pit, it somehow turned in towards Nightmare's favor. And look at this, Gremlin getting 7 kills there. Really, really popping off. Great performance, though, by the Young Guns. They went up against an enormous team. Somehow they came away a little bit unvictorious, but they gave us a great show, in all honesty.
Yeah, that last fight was crazy. There were so many trades going out on both sides, and I thought it was going to go in Young Gun's favor, but Nightmare ended up sticking that point, and I think that's a pretty big attribute that really differentiates an average player from a pro player, is being able to sit there in the moment and stick that point the whole time and not panic and not let go of it and not panic that their whole team's coming in, getting ready to stall it. And he held on to that stick and got it at the last second there. The winch just barely not able to yank it away from him in time.
Yeah, and you know, it relies on a good team as well. You have to have good communication. You have to have a team that you can trust, that you know that like, hey, I'm going to make the right move. I know that this is the way to do it. Time is running down, and just having that trust in a teammate to make a call like that is massive. So, just amazing plays, amazing performance, Nightmare and just the Young Guns. What a great way to wrap up Group A. I'm blown away. That was fun. That was intense, but we are going to take a quick break as we get a setup for Group B. So don't go anywhere because we have a ton more finals coming up. Hello and welcome back to PHL Playday number 4. My name is Rio. I am joined on the mic by Dread. How did you enjoy Group A so far, or Group A, Dread?
Man, uh, I'm still out of breath. My heart is still beating. My heart rate is high. It's just, it feels like the finals and what the finals is meant to be: explosive, electric, just crazy matches. It was fun to watch and a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, too. I'm excited for this next group. I think all these groups are going to be pretty similar to what we watched.
Well, I really hope so because Group A was amazing. If you guys missed it, go back and watch them because that it was just an explosive way to get started for today. But let's take a look at Group B and who will be competing in this first cash out. We've got Diminish, the Fire Strays, Pulsar Blue, and Team Kiri. So they have been seeded based off of their performance on Wednesday, and we're gonna play one cash out match and determine who our top two and our bottom two will be, and then we will stream the top two as we go towards a 3v3. So the stakes are really high for the teams to get up there. A ton of points at play as well, way more that are at play than are on Wednesday. So it's going to be intense. It's going to be exciting. I am ready to dive into it, and we're going to be starting off on Fortune Stadium. What are your thoughts on Fortune Stadium, Fred?
Uh, to me, it's one of my top 3 favorite maps, along with Cis Horizon, Vegas, and this one, Fortune Stadium here, just because of how I feel like it's so balanced. Honestly, as opposed to, you compare it to maps like Seoul and Monaco, which I feel are so one-sided. The rotations take forever. You can get across this map pretty quick here on Fortune Stadium.
Yeah, well, and this is your first time casting with me on Fortune, so I like to give everybody a fortune based off of a random fortune. Real quick, it's going to be your fortune for today, Dread, is a day above ground is a good day. I don't pick them, but that's your fortune. So,
Hey, sounds
whatever
good to
that
me.
means.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one.
Okay, well, with all that said, we have loaded into Fortune Stadium. Cafaneo rocking that 93R, brings his teammates in Viz, bounce pad directly into Pulsar Blue. They're ready to bring the battle. Getting some shots off, but immediately gets winch clawed in there. Does go down, and it is not looking good as Diminish are losing player after player, but Pulsar Blue is surviving on a sliver. Diminish able to get it with Belize getting that final kill. Interesting way to get things started. 2 team wipes and 2 teams will take the vaults, get them plugged at cash out A and B. Cash out A over here all the way to the other side of things as the Fire Strays blocking off that goo pad. Guys, if you don't do that, that is one of the best strategies you can do. Throw that goo just a little bit towards the left of the bounce pad and it will just stop it. You got to break that goo before it's usable again. Great strategy. And I'm going to be really curious because this cash out is so strong. We typically don't see a lot of teams go for it.
Yeah, and honestly, that's one of the best parts about watching PHL specifically, is especially for an average player like me, is learning all these new strats. And holy crap, these fights just starting off so explosive immediately. Big counter winch coming out from Servati, but it's not enough. He ends up going down. But the other team coming in behind, and 2 from Fire Strays end up going down as well. And
Yeah,
now
this
it's
is
Team Kiri just trying to make their way up the staircase here.
There are 3 teams here already just diving onto 1 point. The flip is being attempted right now by Team Kiri. Nobody is stopping them because there's so many, and he does write it down, but unfortunately gets winch clawed right out of there. Sloppy, what are you doing? That's not appropriate for stream. Taking some shots off as well. There is a gravity cube in play here. This is one of the most intense cash outs I have seen in a while. It is in the hands right now of Team here. I don't even know who's holding it right now. Fire Strays.
I believe it's Fire Strays, yeah, with that hot pink there, as opposed to the, I guess, salmon reddish color that Team Kiri is. But Kazo just trying to stay alive there, gooing off that door to make sure nobody could push him there. And there's still another team coming in. Pulsar is back. There's still 3 teams on this cash out trying to take control of this here. Some goo coming out, trying to get the swap. Huge damage coming out from Servati. Just not able to get that swap. Actually ends up going down with that glitch grenade. And now Team Kiri is actually going to take this swap.
And yeah, what a great little swap as well. They're able to get the flip. The goo fortress brought down because Akazo bringing in the goo gun. You know it, you love it. It's fun to see, and it did help them get in there and get the flip. They're sitting pretty now with 12K at the top of the list. On the other side of things, Diminish holding on to this cash out the last 15 seconds or so. Nobody's really too close to them. I'll be very excited to see if any team decides to go for it, but we're going to turn our attention to Team Kiri as Pulsar Blue engaged directly at them. Bravado having to dive out of there as he just was dealt a ton of damage. And Team Kiri now a little bit split up. Pulsar Blue getting the tap on the vault.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You were pointing out how surprised you were that people were going after that cash out, and it ended up 3 teams going after that cash out, and Diminish just kind of dancing together and holding hands on that other cash out, just kind of getting it for free almost. And now we'll see what happens next. Diminish with a pretty healthy lead there, but Team Kiri right behind them in terms of cash out here, though. But big damage coming out. Pulsar trying to move this box. Ends up finally getting into C. C4 ends up coming out. They're going to try to go down here and play underneath, it looks like, but they're getting chased. They're getting chased. And not able to get it out. Diminish is trying to get those kills. They're Cafaneo, and they end up taking out all 3 immediately as they end up going up the stairs there so quickly. They're going to flip that box there. And let's take a look at the other side of the map here.
Yeah, stairwells can be deadly. It's just something you don't want to get caught in. But Cash Out D about to be plugged, but it looks like the Fire Strays are struggling just a little bit, and Viper bringing Varian down almost immediately. Pulsar Blue also in the mix? No, they're completely down, about to get respawned. There is the plug finally happening. Gonna get some heals back in it. Team Kiri looking good. Kazo building himself that goo fortress that we love to talk about. On the other side of things, Diminish trying to hold on to their cash out. Pulsar Blue making their approach. Lots of pings going off. You can see that they haven't found anybody just yet. There's an RPG going off at the feet of Bubba. He does drop a little bit, but it's not going to impact him too much. This cash out is very out in the open. It's going to make for an interesting approach. Servati throwing that red or that orange fire barrel, buying himself a little bit of space. There's the winch claw pulling it into the building. This is their attempt. They've got to hold on.
Yeah, and these cash outs ended up so staggered here. We'll see if that ends up playing anything there. Belize with a big winch onto Boo Boo, ends up going down. Servati ends up following him. It's only Sparrow alive now. But here comes Fire Strays to absolutely clean up almost both teams. Sparrow still just barely alive here, though. He's going to have to back off a little bit. I don't think he's going to be able to stop this as Fire Strays ends up taking that. And they are looking to try to get the wipe over there on Pulsar, but Sparrow is out of there. Might just be moving on to that next point. Because just as I was talking about these points being so staggered, they still have time to go over there and take a look at that other cash out as the team's pointing in.
Yeah, this is a weird stagger indeed. They are going to try and make their approach over there. Vault 5 has spawned, so it'll be interesting to see if they want to pivot over there or just go directly for D. It seems like they've made the call, and they're going to go for D as all the teams start to converge on it. Team Kiri trying to hold on to it for dear life. They've got about a third left, not even a fourth left on that cash out. It is ticking down. Shots going off from T Mills. He is rocking that repeater. But look at this. The cash out has been manipulated onto a bounce pad, shot all the way towards that roof. That'll be a perfect way to hold on. And look at where it's positioned as well. There is the drop. A DMAT drops it down just a little bit. But again, the kite game is perfect. They're able to hold on. Team Kiri, next level plays.
Yeah, and it's just funny to watch Akaza with that goo gun there, just spewing goo behind him everywhere he goes. It's so hard to chase that guy and get damage off as he's running, just constantly protecting himself with that goo. And on the other side of the map there, it looks like Cafaneo ends up taking out Varian. And T-Mills and Slothy trying to maybe turn around this fight, getting off some big damage with that repeater, but he doesn't want to commit too hard because they still have a lot of money. They don't want to lose out on that money that they already have. Bravado trying to run away here. He does have that DMAT. They want to set up on B, it looks like here. Just desperately trying to make it out. Using that D-mat so that his team can link up with him as they bounce pad up there. But it looks like Fire Stray is already also taking position on that as that box 6 ends up moving in. Both teams fighting over that box. Ends up throwing it away from the point, but swinging it around the other side. With that D-mat, Yoink ends up getting the plug, but Varian ends up taking him down.
Ooh, the trade going off as well. T-Mill's coming back in there. This is a back and forth. It's all on Akazo. He's trying to get some goo, trying to stay alive, but it did not work. The Fire Strays able to get in there. Gonna get the flip. Gonna turn our attention to the other side of things as Pulsar Blue holding on to control of Cash Out A. Time is ticking away. The chaos is just going down. Everybody here diminished, trying to find any opening that they can. Shots going off from Boo Boo. He is staying in this battle. It is all on Sparrow and Belize, and Sparrow brings down Belize. He's going to be able to bring his teammates back into this. They need to just hold on for a little bit longer. Pulsar Blue will finally get a cash out to their name.
Yeah, Pulsar Blue on the bottom of the leaderboard right now, but it's still very much anybody's game as they can still hold on to this cash out maybe, but Servati ends up going down to Akazo as Team Kiri is making their way into this point now. APS and a lot of goo coming out to block through this point, but RPG comes out trying to break through as much of it as they can. And that is going to interrupt the steal there as Sparrow is desperately trying to hold on to this point. Kiri moving the body around as they're maybe going to go for that res, but they don't have a lot of time in this box. They're just going to hop right back on it. Sparrow's trying desperately to not let him get as much goo out there as he can, but he's just holding the trigger down on that goo gun. But it's not going to be enough because Sparrow able to peek underneath there and get a lot of damage out and finally able to take out the rest of Team Kiri. And on the other side of the map, we got another steal trying to get through. Just not barely enough to get through. Varian ends up taking all 3 of them and holds on to that point for Fire Strays.
Oh, okay, that was crazy. Fire Strays just holding on barely, but getting in there, sent all the way to the top. So we will be battling it out between Fire Strays, and Pulsar Blue. Those are our top 2 teams. That is crazy. Fortune Stadium, always just a chaotic, fun mess of a map, and I love it because the staggers were just intense. The battles were insane. Varian going off with 10 kills as well definitely helped them secure their place in the top 2. But boy, what an intense battle, an intense grouping. Nobody really failed to pop off as well. Everybody got a lot of good kills. Good match, good way to start off Group B. And yeah, I think that top 2 teams definitely made it to the top here.
Yeah, it already, I mean, I knew the match was going to be crazy when it already started off with a hospital plug. And generally, like you were talking about, we don't see a lot of teams push that point because it's so hard to push. And we saw 2 teams push it at the same time, ended up in a 3-team mosh pit on one side of the map. And it just from there on, all the boxes just ended up getting staggered. And there was so much, you know, we had a 4-team fight on one box at one point, and it just made the match a lot more unpredictable than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, unpredictable is a great way of putting it because it was basically anybody's game until the last few minutes, the last minute or two. And it was just intense, a great way to control the map. I loved Akazo's team coming in there and just trying to put goo everywhere. It kind of worked for them, it kind of didn't. You know, that's the way of the goo, I guess. But I love that they try and make it work. And I think that it does have more of a place in cash out than it does in 3v3s. So it's fun to see. It adds to the chaos of things. Goo definitely helped Group A, especially in those 3v3s, because we're just seeing the new technique now. To me, what I'm seeing a lot of is they throw a goo roof, is what I'm calling it. They try and just block off anybody from above, and it buys them just a little bit of time, a little bit of space, and it's kind of working. I know that this has been used for a bit, but it's fun to see it just being widely accepted and people really bringing those goo grenades out there to make it work. And then you throw Kazo in there with the goo gun. It's just fun. And I have said goo probably 17 times now in the last 2 minutes, and yeah, it's starting to sound like a funny, weird word now. But production, do we have the map picks for this 3v3, or are we still working on those? Production has gone silent, so I must have said something wrong. What were you going to say, Dread? Not yet. Okay.
We do not have the map picks yet, but I also just want to point out Varian, I believe 10 kills at the end of that there. Ended up taking out all 3 members to hold on to his cash out at the end there. I think the only player in the lobby to hit double digits on kills. Fire Strays were looking pretty dominant towards the back half of that match.
Yeah, yeah, it's just that 93R. If you find the right light player in the right area with just good placement and good aim, it's deadly. I mean, they just hit those little bursts. And it's 1, 2, 3 dead. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4 if you're a heavy. It's just it's so impressive. It's fun to watch. Really cool, good players. You know, it's what separates the good light players. But enough about me yapping. We are gonna look at the maps going into this. We're gonna start back into Fortune Stadium, go next to Las Vegas, and then finish it all up into Cis Horizon. So this is some good picked maps as well. Nothing that we haven't seen today, but I do love that we'll at least see Vegas. And I don't know, I'm a little less confident on this one going to 3. I think that Pulsar Blue were really strong. They're a great team. Pulsar's, you know, great org, and they might have a little bit of an upper hand going into this. But I don't know. What are your thoughts, Judd?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, at least for me personally, to predict, especially the 3v3s as opposed to the cash outs, because I feel like the 3v3s, there's so much individual plays that can happen between the players
Mhm.
as opposed to there's so much like outer influence that can happen in the cash out matches where you know in the cash out matches you can almost play absolutely perfectly and still lose a box to some unpredictable team coming in from other direction. You get third party, something happens, the cash outs can go either way. But in the
Mhm.
3v3s, it's a lot more tactical and strategic, I think is the best way to put it. And that's a whole lot of words to basically say I have no idea how this is going to go.
Perfect. Tactical, strategic. Let's see if we get any of that as we are loading back into Fortune Stadium. Maybe good fortunes will come on the Fire Strays. They've given us some good shows before, but Varian and his teammates rocking towards vault number 1, throwing a nice gateway, that goo grenade as well, buying themselves a little bit of space to climb up on top of that roof. We got a nice typical rooftop battle going off. The tap has gone off by Fire Strays, so they might not want to wait for this. They might grab it, yoink it, and take it towards a cash out.
Yep. T-Mills hitting some long shots with that repeater there. Sparrow shooting back, though. Pretty brave coming from a light to peek a repeater for that long, but putting a lot of shots back in. Heals coming out from both sides. We got pretty standard loadouts, it looks like, from both teams here, as opposed to the last best of 3 we watched. So I think we're going to have a bit of a standoff on the Fox for a while now. Both teams rocking some pretty long-range guns. Big damage going off. Immediately gets healed back up, though. Fire Strays are going to have to figure out how to move this. They do need to go in the direction of Pulsar to really get this box anywhere. Pulsar has some good high ground to see which way they're going to go, but big damage coming out. T-Mills actually ends up getting picked off as Sparrow ends up sneaking up on them and ends up taking out Varian as well. And what I think was a light 1v1 there. And now it's only Slothy alive trying to get the res up, but not quite able to do it in time as they push in. And he's going to pop a dome shield to try to live as long as he possibly can, but he finally ends up going down. And Pulsar Blue is going to be able to move this box.
Yeah, finally, and we'll get a nice little replay of that. Stairwells, as I've said, deadly. Stay out of them. Don't go for a res. You're stuck in a corner. And that's exactly what happened there. He ran to the left, ran to the right, figured out he had nowhere to go, and finally went down. So, Pulsar Blue looking strong so far. Get the plug on Cash Out B. They're going to get to some height, but Fire Strays have spawned right back in. They are ready to dive into this battle. They don't want to give Pulsar Blue any time to set up. They've got the 93R in the hands of Varian, who we pointed out earlier has got great kills last time. Can he find some more kills as the time is ticking away? We are almost a fourth of the way done with this cash out box, and things have just slowed down. They're trying to poke for information, trying to find anything that they can. Pulsar Blue on the bottom floor, interestingly enough, they've almost traded places now. Fire Strays going to the roof thinking that they'd find anybody, and then found out that the party is no longer there. There we go, Varian getting some shots off, popping them off, continuing, but the chase is going down. Pulsar Blue just runs out of there. They're playing the perfect kite game. They just need to buy as much time, space, and anything else that they can to make this push by Fire Strays fail. And there goes one down. T-Mills going down in that first battle, and there's Slothy. It is all on the shoulders of Varian. Does bring down Sparrow in that first fight, but it's not looking pretty. He's having to dive out there, and Slothy 20 seconds before he can coin back in. It'll be a sad and lonely wait in that stairwell, as that looks like what he's going to have to do. Wait for his teammates to coin back in.
Yeah, I love that play from Pulsar there, just slowly rotating around, starting on the high ground, going to the low ground, but they always had that gateway ready to go to get them back up to the high ground, rotated all the way around to the other side, catching Fire Strays off guard there, able to get 2 picked off. And now there's not a lot of time left on this cash out. Fire Strays need to make a play really quick here if they want to go in. But lots of damage coming out from Sparrow from that ARN. Great shots going into Slothy. Slothy getting real low. And a big gateway reposition coming out here, and there is no time left on this cash out. First box going to go in the favor of Pulsar Blue.
Yeah, they've held on really convincingly, but again, they're getting pushed into a stairwell. Today's lesson is don't go into stairwells, because look at that. Pulsar Blue, 1, 2, 3, deleted, but it's not going to matter too much because they got the cash, and they're getting some kills as well. Boo Boo sitting pretty with 3 kills already. Nice little medium player in there, but yeah, can they hold on to this? Can the kills turn? Will anything change? I have no idea. The pings are going off. Vault 2 has been spawned. T-Mills on that rooftop. One of the more famous controller players. Getting the setup, getting the jump potentially on Pulsar Blue as well.
Yeah, Pulsar putting on a master class when it comes to kiting and playing objective and running that time out there, because for an average player like me and some of the other people that might be watching, you can learn a lot playing huge RPG coming out to take out Sparrow there. Pulsar immediately, the rest of their team turns around and runs the other way as they see that explosion go off. Their teammate turned into a trophy right in front of their faces. They're going to try to get out of there and try to wait for Sparrow to coin up, it looks like, because his body is in a pretty dangerous spot, but Fire Strays is just going to opt to get back over to this, what do you call this point over here, Rio? I've heard a lot of people hospital side of Fortune, but I don't think...
Yeah, it's definitely the hospital side. It's pretty much copied directly from Seoul, but that's
Right,
okay. And Sector 6, I hate the sectors, but that's a rant for another day as we watch the little attempts at Pulsar Blue to chop some damage off at anybody from the Fire Strays. But right now, it seems like it's just a rooftop battle in a with a little bit more of a chasm in the middle. And really no approach by Pulsar Blue. Here it goes. As soon as I say that, Gateway is going to bring the rest of his teammates over. They're on the bottom floor, so Fire Strays has the advantage. They are in the stairwell, and I would try and get out if I were them, but they're trying not to make a lot of noise. I don't think it matters much because they're still chugging along at a pretty convincing pace. One of their teammates, Servati, I think, is a little bit away from the rest of his teammates, maybe trying to find a nice pinch, maybe go up the other stairwell. Here is the approach. They're starting to get a little bit closer, but everybody on the Fire Strays is on the opposite side of that wall. They blow the wall up. There's the cash out, dropping it down 1 floor. Everybody is engaging. Pulsar Blue gets winched down there. Servati going down in the first engagement. The rest of them need to find something. Boo Boo on the top, going for that totem, but it is at his own life. Sparrow, now the only person remaining, going down as well. It looks like Fire Strays will get this cash out, and we will likely see a third cash out for these two teams.
Yeah, going back on what we were talking about earlier in that cash out phase, it just goes to show how hard that point is to push into when there's no other teams that can push into it with you. Like we saw what happened in the cash out phase. There's only really 1 or 2 directions you can really come from, and it's hard to not make noise when you're coming down a staircase. Also, I think one of the biggest things I've learned today, if you want to give Rio a scare on Halloween, just dress up as a staircase.
Yeah, I am terrified of them. And I've been saying it for years, and I've watched so many just plays fall apart because they just get stuck in a stairwell. And then myself as well. Anytime I'm in a match, I am anti-stairwell. But I'm now saying stairwell goo. Let's add it to Rio's list of words for the day. And there's a nice little goo wall going down as well. We've somehow brought this back to another rooftop battle. Sparrow down in this first fight. Seems like Pulsar Blue are going to get a res on him. Didn't bring him back up just yet, so I guess they're going to try and run down the coins. But here are all the Fire Strays walking directly into this. One of them goes down, but there's the trade. The res immediately going back off, but Varian very low, has to back off. But this is not a room you want to get stuck in as well. It's basically a stairwell.
Almost like running right into the meat grinder there, though. As soon as he turned that corner, SA-12 and Peter just started tearing him up, and now T-Mills goes down to Sparrow. I just want to point out Sparrow using the ARN, by the way, which is a little bit different from what we normally see with the 93R, and he's putting in some great shots with that ARN, which is a little bit harder to use, but really important. If you get those headshots, you can put a lot of damage out. There's a lot of rounds, double 30-round mags on that gun.
Without a doubt, and I'm just appreciating the pace right now, as we've seen a lot of good clashes, but really nobody's just felt too aggressive to dive directly on the other teams. But there's the steal from Pulsar Blue. They just dive in there, they grab the vault, able to pull it out without much contestant, and it seems like they're going to get this plug pretty uncontested as well. There is the plug. All of the Fire Strays starting their advance. Pulsar Blue are going to have a little bit of time to get the setup, but there's the bounce pad. There is the push starting to come a little bit closer towards each other. The teams are getting ready for this engagement. There's a glitch grenade that goes off, and they pull a little bit back. Varian takes a lot of damage, but there's that medium healing him right back up. This engagement is going slow, but surely they're about to kick it off, and there is the winch pulling them into this. The SA shotguns are dealing damage. There's 2 kills on Pulsar Blue. They're starting their advance towards this cash out. Gonna get the flip as Sparrow, the last remaining member, battles it out against Varian, having to go back around that wall, wait for his teammates. Not looking too great.
Episode 3, Revenge of the Staircase again. Unfortunately, they end up fighting up that staircase there, and it does not work out in their favor. But Sparrow's still alive here. Still have a little bit of time left on this point. Both of his teammates are going to coin up, and they're going to try to regroup here and try to figure out a different way to attack this point here. We'll see how they do it, because this is another pretty tough one to go in. I think... Pulsar, I think the biggest difference so far between these two teams, Fire Stray is doing a really, really great job at playing really close together, and Pulsar just getting a little bit split on these engages as Sparrow tries to take some of the off angles just a little too late, or his team going in a little too early, but they're going to try to goo this up here and get a swap. It ends up getting dropped all the way down, 2 floors down, but big winch coming off and damage going on to Slothy. Slothy ends up going down, but Sparrow gets traded right afterwards. T-Mills is going to go down, and they're going to try to get the fib off on Sparrow, but they don't have a lot of time on this point, so they're going to go for the swap. But Varian finds a goo barrel and ends up getting the stall with the goo barrel. And is it going to be enough? Huge damage coming off. He ends up bunny hopping over Servati's head to get the headshots in and stall that point. And Fire Strays with Varian clutching that ends up taking map 1.
Okay. That was crazy. What a great last second stall. He threw that goo and threw it at his feet, and it didn't pop off immediately. Was able to get a last second goo stall as well right after that, and then just cleaned them both up. Varian just popping off, showing us what a true master of the light can be like. And just, yeah, impressive. 8 kills there, with a bulk of them coming towards the end. He was an impressive show of what a light can do. Good way to get things started. The Fire Strays, the one team that I was saying is a little bit at a disadvantage, go at Pulsar Blue, somehow took the map very convincingly, especially that stall right at the end.
Yeah, it was a crazy play watching Varian at the end, bunny hopping over Servati there to get some damage in while Servati was trying to body block. Great plays coming out. Man, it's just so hard to even try to get predictions in because, like you just said, as soon as we get a prediction in, they go and surprise us just like this. And this is the finals. Like anything can happen. All it takes is one big play towards the end of the objective,
Mhm.
and you can take the map with it.
Well, and what I'm appreciating so far is that we haven't really seen a sweep. No team has taken over the other. It hasn't been a 2-0. It hasn't been anything like that. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that we're going to three cash outs. These teams are really kind of showing that there isn't a dominating force. And I think that's so important when we go to these 3v3s because it can just be boring, in all honesty, if we watch one team just dominate the other, because that's what we want to see in this league. We want to see the teams that are so close against each other that it makes a good engagement. And that's really what we saw in this last map. So moving over towards Las Vegas, I think that we can expect a lot of that again. I'm going to change my prediction here. I really feel that the Fire Strays, after what I just saw, might take it here in Las Vegas. That's a bold prediction, but I'm also going to still predict that we go to three cash outs. So we'll see. It's anybody's game as we're going to get started on Las Vegas with the Fire Strays and Pulsar Blue.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with my boys in blue here. I think they're gonna hit him with the reverse sweep. I think they're gonna lock in here. And one of the things that I like about watching these matches too is how the players adapt after each game and each map. They adapt their play style just a little bit to see how they can get in on these fights. And wow, these teams spawning so close to each other. Fight breaking out already as both take high ground. Big pad coming in with the RPG, just barely missing, but T-Mill still taking a lot of damage. End up dropping all the way down, just barely able to get out. But Slothy and Varian almost turned around the fight, ended up taking out Boo Boo and Servati, and now it's only Sparrow alive on Pulsar Blue.
Yeah, what an explosive first engagement. It is interesting as Pulsar Blue is pushed aside a little bit, and Sparrow being the only remaining person on the team as well. They're going to coin back in, I think, because the time is just running down. Varian on the other side, bringing his teammate back into the battle. They get the tap on the vault. They're going to go to height. This Mega Dome is a great spot to be at. Slothy rocking that BFR Titan as well. It's always fun to see in some strong hands, but we're going to see if he can connect those shots. That's what it's all about. Vault 1 has been popped. Here's the rooftop engagement. Pulsar Blue want to turn the tide. They want to bring this, show them that they want to take this to 3 maps. There's the engagement, immediately getting winched off. Boo Boo, what are you doing? You've fallen off the map and your teammates are dying. He's having to bounce out of there. And Sparrow as well, very separated from his team.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Boo Boo meant to do that originally, but it might have saved his life there as Fire Strays had a pretty aggressive play there. Already had the dome shield popped, did end up getting the winch onto Servati, and Boo Boo just barely making it out of there with 1 HP, and Fire Strays just opting to move this box and go try to get this plug instead of going for the wipe. But it looks like Sparrow might have just launched it to the other side of the map to try to buy his team as much time as he possibly can.
Yeah, an interesting stall tactic, but it does buy enough time for the teams to come back at it, getting in ready for any engagement that they can. But things have slowed down. I don't know if this is Pulsar Blue just kind of feeling the weight, feeling the pressure, not wanting to lose this engagement and turn it into an uphill battle for them. But here it goes on the Mega Dome. Slothy taking some long range shots, still connecting them on Boo Boo, somehow surviving on 1 HP. But they've decided to make the pull it off, get the plug started on Cash Out B. Slothy rocking that Titan, reloading it. All of Pulsar Blue now on a little bit of an uphill battle, as I mentioned earlier. They need to find an entry, find an opening, find something to get off this height. Sparrow, this is not the spot to be because nobody from Fire Strays are going to poke their head out, surely.
Yeah, I really like this from Fire Strays. Both teams really wanted to get that plug because it's so important getting to have that extra time to set up as early as possible. And now you see that in effect because now Pulsar has to work their way around to try to find out where they're hiding before they can really get anything done here. Looks like they do see just a little bit of the top of T-Mill's heads, but he's not quite sure if the entire team is there or it might just be Mills. But it looks like a big RPG coming out. Varian taking lots of damage, but not a whole lot happening yet. Sparrow opts to reposition to try to go for a flank here to maybe cut them off as they're going to just go for the swap here as the team's trying to reposition, but they didn't go too far as they come right back in with the C4, not really connecting, but Varian puts so much damage into Sparrow, ends up killing him. Boo-Boo and Servati end up taking that gateway to get out, but all of Fire Strays is on the hunt, and they follow him right through the gateway, trying desperately to get out, but Fire Strays is right behind them, directly on their 6, and ends up taking out the entire team. And they're going to take that point right back in their favor.
Yeah, so that's an interesting approach. Pulsar Blue, I believe, should have gone for the kills and then go for the flip because it put them at such a disadvantaged position after they got the flip. Everybody was there down at the cash out, and it just allowed the Fire Strays to just ape them, just dive directly back onto them, not give them time to set up, and then we watched the kills go off 1, 2, and 3. So this is their last approach, a last attempt by Pulsar Blue. It is going to be a last-second dive as they're running to it. The explosions are going off. T-Mills with the repeater getting a kill. Varian getting the second one, and Sparrow saying, nah, I'm getting out of here. Getting some final shots on as he leaves this battle. But no, he wants to fight it out, and there we go. Slothy connecting that shot from the Titan, bringing down Pulsar Blue. I hate to say it, but the Fire Strays right now looking very strong. They have one cash out away. They are one cash out away from taking this in a 2-0. So Pulsar Blue, you guys need to get something going. Chat, if you're rooting for Pulsar Blue, send them their love, send them good vibes. They need to do something literally right now.
Yeah, it almost feels like, kind of going off of what I was talking about in this last map too, it almost feels like there might be a little bit of miscommunication coming out on the side of Pulsar. Fire Strays are looking really coordinated, all moving in together, and Pulsar just looks like they can't really decide. Sparrow really wanted to fight and get a flank on them, but his team opted to make the swap. Sparrow ended up getting caught out on his own and turned the fight in Fire Strays' favor there. But this is still anybody's match. This is still the finals, and this is still a best of 3, and we could still go to a third cash out in this map. So we'll see what happens here as Fire Strays is trying to get this box plugged, but Pulsar Blue is right behind them here.
Yeah,
nobody really fully connecting yet.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slowdown. You know, Fire Strays just don't want to go for the plug just yet. They hear a lot of explosions going off. The engagement hasn't been direct, but we are right next to the cash out as well. Look at this, the little peepholes. Perfect way to get some shots off from Boo-Boo, but he did not get any kill, and there is the T-Mills just healing everybody right back up. He's got that healing beam. It does come in quite handy, and they finally get the plug. The Pulsar Blue making their advance. Sparrow went down, and that getting the res back on him. The engagement is going off. The winch did not connect in there, but Boo-Boo going down. Sparrow going down as well. T-Mills, Slothy, 1-2. Goodbye, Moon. You need to figure something out because Fire Strays are looking good.
Wow, yeah, Fire Strays just looking really coordinated, really playing well together. Big shots coming out of Varian, picking off Sparrow early on in that fight, and the T-Mills coming in with the repeater, doing so much damage, landing those pot shots with the repeater. But there's still a little bit of time on this box. Pulsar Blue is back up. Oh, got stuck a little bit on the zip line there, but he's still going to get back up on the roof. And they're going to find a way to get in. Looks like Sparrow's going to try to take an off angle here as they try to find out where they are. Boo-Boo and Servati taking a lot of damage. Fire Stray sees them. Sparrow getting some damage in from behind. Trying to stop them from getting that pad RPG off, which he is successful in, which is pretty good for Pulsar here. But they still have some time to recover. They got to make a move pretty quick now, though. There is less than half the time on this cash box now. Fire Strays, all they really have to do is just keep kiting around and rotating around. They don't really have to commit to anything yet.
Yeah, the time is ticking away. It's all coming down to this. Pulsar Blue need to find their tempo, find their speed, get something going. The goo is going off, but they're doing it again. They're going into a battle. They're going to flip without bringing anybody down, and Servati insanely low. It's all on Boo-Boo. Surely he's about to go down in this. The flip is being attempted. There's the winch. There's the kill.
Wow.
And Fire Strays have done it. They have taken this map. They've taken it in a 2-0 fashion. Incredibly convincing. Just put Pulsar Blue just out of the space. It just incredible performance. Super strong team.
Yeah, and I don't want to completely write off Pulsar Blue because they're also an insanely strong team. But just like we were talking about earlier, it really only takes one misplay to really turn the tide of a game like that. And Varian just doing a great job at kind of reading Sparrow, trying to get that off angle there and picking him off. Both times they were trying to go for that flip. Sparrow ends up getting picked off by Varian there. Big plays with Varian in this series.
Yeah, big plays indeed. And Pulsar, you forgot to get kills. You messed up. Like it's a you know, there's one kill on the board, and yeah, Varian definitely knew how to get kills. But let's not stay on this because it's just a little unfortunate. But yeah, hey, Fire Strays came out of the darkness, lit a fire under Pulsar Blue, and took it away in the end in a 2-0 fashion. We didn't even see 3 cash outs on Vegas. I was really hoping we'd see 3 maps, but that is the way that it plays out. And do you have any final thoughts on this group, Dread, before we throw it to break?
Man, it's just I don't know. I'm learning that I'm not very good at the predictions because nothing is going the way that I thought it was going to go. But before we go to a break here, I want to shout out Broxton again, huge supporter of PHL, huge, great sponsor. We love Broxton, W Broxton.
Absolutely. He was actually on the mic earlier today on the EU side of things. So if you missed that, go back and check it out because it was definitely cool to see the one, the only Broxton getting up there and casting for Group B. So fun to watch. And, you know, if you missed the EU side, go back and watch it anyway. I don't know what you're doing without watching it and enjoying it on your Saturday. But hey, with that, everybody, we have concluded Group B, and we're going to take a quick little break to bring Group C into the lobby and kick things off. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with more finals action. Hello, you beautiful people. Thanks for waiting and welcome back to Playday number 4. We are about to get started on Group C. But before we do, my name is Rio and I am joined by Dread one more time on the mic before we get started on Group C. But Dread, what are your thoughts so far on the day that we've had with Group A and Group B?
Man, absolutely scintillating this day has been. I don't know. It's just I didn't know these people could make me feel more like a man, but I'm pretty sure my blood pressure is rising. My what's going to happen to me for this, but man, these are some exciting games to watch. Especially both groups so far has been way closer, way less one-sided than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we got a little bit of the one-sidedness in Group B with the Fire Strays just putting on a dominating performance and getting in there in the 2-0 fashion. But Group A was a little bit closer, a little bit more of a battle that we kind of expected between Nightmare and the Young Guns. But let's turn our attention now to Group C, the one that we are about to see, and let's walk through the lineup because in Group C, we have Ape Aura, Envy, the Pioneers, and Luxury all going to battle it out in a cash out match, in one singular cash out match, and determine who is our top 3 and who is our top teams that will be going on to the 3v3s and who will be our bottom 2 going towards our B stream there. But in production, what map are we going to get started on again? Cis Horizon. It's been a very popular map that has been chosen today, basically in every single group. We've seen it at least once, and yeah, you kind of love it. It'll be a great battleground for all of these teams to see who will go on to those 3v3s.
Yeah, I think Cis Horizon is probably going to continue to be a pretty popular map, I think, throughout this entire season. We were talking about a little bit about that earlier. It's such a balanced map. It's pretty wide open with what kind of loadouts you want to run. We've seen almost anything. We've seen goo guns. We've seen charge and slam.
Hmm.
We've seen KSs, F cars, repeaters, you name it. Pretty much anything can go on this map. So we're probably going to see a lot out of it, especially in these cash outs, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm kind of loving the resurgence of the repeater. It feels like in the right hands, it has been really a dominating weapon. I kind of love it. I see why they're moving that way because it's a nice chip away damage. You can have some good sight lines on it and just kind of deal some heavy damage, and it brings down lights in 2 hits. So it's a really versatile weapon for the mediums to be rocking, especially when we've got a meta where it's starting to revolve around healing instead of the DMAT usage. So you've got a nice like healing beam and then running around with a repeater. It kind of makes for a fun little Wild West twist on the finals so far. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see even more usage of that going into this final cash out match of today. But yeah, I think that we are just waiting on one player to load into the lobby. And as soon as they get in there, we will send it. But let's go ahead and Dread. I don't think we've made a single prediction on cash out today, and we're going to change that as we're stalling for time. So go ahead and tell me what you believe. Yeah, your 2 top teams who we're going to see in 3v3s
Ah,
next. No pressure.
man, I don't know. I know this mustache makes me look like I should be a lot smarter than I am, but it's really not there up in my head here. I don't know. I'm gonna try to be biased as I can, especially from a caster standpoint. But
Mm.
Apora, they are the homies. I'm an apes guy. I love the apes. Bimo, Hashi, Udrakoni, Mega, Sacred. They're the homies.
Mhm.
But this is a pretty stacked lobby. The Pioneers too. They make some pretty crazy plays. I've seen spawns out there. Llama, Brendy make some pretty gnarly plays. I think if I was forced at gunpoint to pick 2 teams, it might be those 2, but it's still a really hard choice. This is another stacked group.
Absolutely, and we have loaded into Cis Horizon for the last cash out match of today. This will be intense. This will be exciting. I'm even seeing a FAMAS from S2. Haven't seen that in play today. Vault 2 has been tapped by the Big Splash. I don't know where their name tags have gone. I think that we've got a little bit of an overlay issue, but that's okay. They won't be the big splash for long because they've turned into the Pioneers. And we're going to see if they can hold on to this vault as the engagement is already kicking off. That 93R from Aguilara, following it up with a glitch grenade to bring that dome shield down, healing up his teammates as well with the infuser. It's a wonderful loadout for a light to be running, but no team has decided the way it's going to go just yet. But Llama on the sledge. We get 2 sledges in one day. It's just a treat for all of you wonderful viewers out there.
Yeah, big swings coming in from the sledge and huge shots coming out of Brendy with the repeater. Just like we were talking about earlier with how much damage that gun can put out. If you can land your shots with that thing, you can do so much damage. I think it really highlights, especially this season with so much repeaters, how important positioning can be. Because if you're out of position for even a second, you're going to take so much damage. But a little bit of whiffs coming out there. But see, there's huge damage coming out. Almost one-shots, almost headshot to completely destroy BMO on light. But he makes it out with 1 HP. And this box finally gets plugged over here by Ape Aura. And Pioneers only has Brendy left alive. They're going to try to rotate around to get the rest of his team up. But there is still Luxury over here on this point. Still trying to fight for this. Dome shield comes out on the side of Ape Aura, immediately gets glitched. They're going to try to make it up the staircase here, taking lots of damage, though, from Luxury. Luxury now looks like might be running into Pioneers there, taking some damage. And Ape Aura is in a pretty good spot now that they just need to play time here. They still have control of this box, but they're sniffing out a player here. Aguilar just barely makes it out, skirting that RPG just slightly. And now Ape Aura is just going to sit pretty here on this point. Luxury trying to find a way around to get in there. On the other side of the map, we see Envy just sitting nice on Bravo there. Still 3 teams over here on Alpha. Nobody really wants to make a move here because if you make one wrong move and attack a little bit too early, you're going to get sandwiched in between 2 teams here.
There's a nice
play the high ground.
From Luxury, they throw it in, they try and go for it. S2 went down in that battle. The staircases are back, and they're all battling it out in that stairwell. Luxury not looking good, as Byron, being the last remaining member, goes down as well. Ape Aura surviving on just a sliver, with BMO holding on, but the steel is going down right now. It's being dropped. The explosions are going on. I don't know what's happening, but the Pioneers are holding on to this box, holding on to this cash out. Stooge just decides to bail out of there. Envy don't really care because they've got some cash to their name. And it looks like a steal might be attempting going off over here. Everything's just calamity. It's chaos. I'm running out of words because things are happening too fast.
Pioneer, great timing, ended up going in and sneaking the point while Luxury ends up jumping onto Ape Aura and fighting them. Luxury ends up stealing that point, and they end up wiping right before the cash out finishes, so they lose just a little bit less money as that cash out ends. And now they wipe again, though, unfortunately, and lose a little bit again. So Envy is back into first place now with 13.5. And we're just waiting on the next boxes to open here as we're trying to get the next cash out started. While there's still a fight going on the other side of the map, though, Luxury, 2 members end up going down, and Envy is trying to get the cleanup on S2 there, but it looks like he might make it out with his life as Envy is just trying to move this box.
Yeah, this would be a great plug for Envy. It'll really hold them towards the top if they can get it, but they immediately get intercepted by Ape Aura. One of them went down in that first battle, but it seems like they're able to get healed right back up by STN. He's doing a great job of playing medium. They're all now going through the gateway. Envy still looking very healthy. Bounce pad going off as well. Making their approach towards this cash out. It has been started now. Envy has a little bit of time to build up their defenses as Ape Aura are starting their approach, but even Ape Aura might have made the call to pull it off. On the other side of things, the Pioneers are now trying to hold on for dear life. They do have a little bit of height advantage. Luxury is here as well. S2 still rocking that from Moss, going back, taking some shots off, but Brendy pulling back, pulling his teammates off as well, and all of the Pioneers going to, in better angle, now have the height advantage, but it doesn't mean much when you have just a hammer to hold on to things. This cash out slowly ticking away. We're more than halfway done, and Brendy just trying to hold on, trying to kite this for as long as they can. Llama below the cash out now, can drop it down to all of their layer, but Pioneers looking good. Nobody's really engaged them on directly. They're just watching this cash out run down.
Yeah, this is another tough one. There's 3 teams here, so timing makes a huge difference. But Pioneers doing a really good job at being patient and just kind of hanging out here. Spawns ends up taking out Aguilar, a big 2 burst to the head. Byron ends up going down as well. BMO ends up trading, but Stu-J ends up getting the trade on that as well too. And all 3 teams are just kind of mosh pitting. Apora ends up going down, all 3 of them. There's only Spawns up on Pioneers, but he ends up going. Might be able to take this point. But there's not a lot of time on it. They need to hop on it right now, but it looks like they're taking some damage from Envy, as Envy has made their way over here too. They said, hey, we want some action too, and ended up making it all the way over there, and nobody ends up getting that swap, so Pioneers still hold on to that point.
An interesting play at the end, but hey, they got 27k to their name, so they are sitting pretty. Envy on the other side of the map just seems to be rocking down the clock as well. Stooge is just really far away. They've just conceded it. They don't think anybody is going to steal it. A team is attempting it, but it is luxury, and they're pulling back a little bit now. Ape Aura has gotten the tap on the other vault. They need to get something going. They've got 6k in cash, and that's going to be a lot to get up into first or second. The gateway is going to pull them over there. They're going to get the plug, potentially. BMO, though, taking some damage on this approach. Seems like Luxury is here. They want to try and get the plug as well. They've only got 2k to their name, so getting this plug is super important for whoever does it, but there it goes. Ape Aura finally getting it. Maybe they can hold on to this, throwing down some smoke. They're staying very close to each other, but oh no. They're going towards the stairwell. Don't stay in there, boys. Don't hold on. Maybe that's their plan. We're going to have to find out, as they want to kite this and try and hold on.
Yeah, Envy in a really, really good spot here, being in a pretty healthy amount of cash up in first place. Not really have to do it in here, but they still want some action, so they're in there. Luxury and Ape Aura need to fight for this point, though. Same with Pioneers. If either of them take this, Pioneers are going to end up in a pretty bad spot. But no teams really fully connecting here, as nobody really wants to fully commit yet, but somebody's going for, looks like Pioneers is trying to get that swap back in their favor, and they do actually end up getting that and immediately gateway out. And now Ape Aura is going to try to get this swap right back, but that gateway is still up. They might be able to sneak back in there. Pioneers only Spawns left alive to be able to stall this back in their favor. And Ape Aura able to steal it right back. We're coming up almost in the halfway point of this, and the double goes in now. It's technically anybody's game now, as even Luxury could still steal this, but there's still so much happening. Every team alive, every member of every team back up. There's still a lot of time on this point.
Absolutely, and Ape Aura did have the height advantage, but Mega wants to go down there, bring his teammate back up, but it's at his own life. He goes down in that battle, but they're still holding on. All of the teams are here. All of them want a piece of that pie. Dashing in, Aguilar gets some kills. He's going to try and go for the attempt, but look at this, the height from above. This might be them. They're holding on. The Dome Shield's going to secure it. Luxury out of nowhere got the flip. Now they just have to hold on for about 15 seconds, but here are the Pioneers going directly for a steal as well. Brendy going down in that battle. 9 seconds left on the clock. Somehow, Luxury seemed like they're going to hold on to this. They've got the cash. The time is out. Luxury going down in this, straight up to the top. Yeah, Luxury are going to battle Envy in our 3v3s. But they got the flip, they got the steal right at the end, and hey, they've earned their place to go against the Titan of Envy.
Wow, tragic for Pioneers there. Just so close to being able to hold on to that box, but have every team collapsing on their heads at the very end there. Just not quite able to hold. They're taking damage from every single angle, and Luxury ends up getting the doubled cash out at the end to skyrocket into first place, heading into this best of 3.
Yeah, I mean, gotta give them credit. They played it well. It sometimes comes down to those last second steals. They did it right, and now we're gonna watch them go against Envy, who, for the most of that last cash out, were pretty much left alone. They nobody went after them. It was just constant third teaming on the other side of things. So it's gonna be interesting. Envy are also very well known for their 3v3s. They're a tough, well composed team. So luxury, and the reason that I'm kind of playing this out because if we look at the leaderboard, even right now, luxury is at the bottom, and if we look at the leaderboard as well, I don't have it pulled up, but just from my recollection, I think envy is at the top. So this will be kind of the sandwich. We're missing the meat, but we got the bread. So I'm gonna run out of analogies, and I'm just gonna toss it over to you, Dread, because now I'm talking about a sandwich.
Yeah, envy just I mean, it, you don't want to bring it all down to luck. There's so much other stuff that can happen in cash out matches, but they did put themselves in such a great spot early on in that match, getting the momentum going. And while there were so many other teams fighting on that other box, they sent two members over to kind of dictate who they wanted going. Not just on the last box that was doubled, but two boxes before that, even they were going over, sending some members over to pick off some kills, get some extra kill money, and also try to dictate who they wanted, hopefully, to get those boxes, and they were pretty in control of most of that match.
Yeah, Envy was definitely in control of that whole lobby. It was just interesting to see. I'm gonna say it here though, like if there is ever a team to go against it, Luxury can pop off. They have been scrimming, they have been trying to kind of get back in there. And if you guys ever wanted a dark horse to come out of nowhere, this is a team to root for. I mean, they're relatively unknown in the scene until basically this PHL season. So it's cool to see them. If you want to root for a total underdog, absolutely root for Luxury, because if somehow they pull this off, it will be the biggest upset I've ever seen in the finals. So, with that said, let's take a look at the maps we will be seeing these two teams battle it out on. And finally, a new map in the mix, Bernal. We're going to take it there and get things started. It was picked by Envy, and then we're going to go to Cis Horizon. So, maybe if we're lucky, we'll see everything wrap up on Las Vegas. But we're gonna have to get quite lucky, in my opinion, if we make it all the way there. But as I was saying earlier, I would love to see it. I would love to see an underdog just absolutely shut down Envy and give us the show that we've been waiting for all day. Because that would be a show. That would be a complete show. Even chat would just be speechless. Normally, you guys are typing all around, and we read it all. We read it all, and I'm sure it'll be silent.
Yeah, and honestly, if there's one thing you could say about this game is anything. If the groups before this and even the play days before this had proven anything can happen. So don't count luxury out yet, is what I'm trying to say, because we've seen some crazy stuff happen in PHL.
We
And
have,
I
and
believe
they
this is the first time. I was just gonna say this might be the first time I think we've seen Bernal tonight. Am I correct?
yes, this will be the first time to seeing Bernal. And all I was going to say is that they earned their place in this league. They are a team. They might be at the bottom, but that doesn't mean that they didn't work their way up here. So they are going to play amongst the best, and we're going to see. There is a sliver of hope that they're able to pull something off, and really, that's what I'm rooting for. Maybe this is where we get some of their names a little bit more known. Byron, S2, and Aguilara as they start their approach towards vault number 1. Busy rocking that BFR. It does hit quite hard. The engagement is about to kick off as these two teams are incredibly close towards each other. There's the bounce pad. Busy with the RPG starting to go for it. He does shoot it off, but he takes a lot of damage in return. S2 sadly taking a lot of damage. Aguilara going down. They've lost their light, forcing them back over into a corner. And I feel like Envy is on the hunt. They want to bring them down. They don't want to give them any time to lick their wounds, bring their teammate back into this. There is the push from Stu-J going directly in there, taking some shots off, bringing Byron down incredibly low. They did get a res off, but there's one, there's two. The third not looking too healthy as well, and there is three. Envy looking quite good on that first engagement. Gonna get in control of vault number 1, and we got a clip.
Yeah, it's just so much burst damage coming out from this team with the 93R. And, you know, we've been talking a lot about the repeater all day today, but the FAMAS 2 still has a lot of burst damage in its kit as well. And with that BFR, all you really need to do is land 1 or 2 shots, and your team can clean that up pretty easily because it's going to do a lot of damage. So just piggybacking onto what we were talking about earlier, positioning matters so much, I think, even more this season than it ever has with how bursty these guns are. But
yeah,
Luxury's going to try to get in there with a little pad gateway. Oh, it just gets beamed out of the sky. Just barely gets the gateway off by STM with that FAMAS.
Yeah, this is wild. Luxury are just struggling to find any opening that they can. They brought the direct engagement, and now S2 bringing himself towards the corner of the room, towards that red barrel, and fire barrel elbows it into oblivion. I mean, they're going to have a little bit of time, about 15 more seconds to figure out a better plan of approach. But you know what? Cash out manipulation, one of my favorite things in this game. And look at what Envy is doing right now. They've decided to turn themselves into lumberjacks, as busy just bringing down all of the foliage and trees in the area. It is a good strategy. It's another one of these things that you can learn by watching these teams, because it gives them a clearer view of this approach, as we're seeing right now. Aguilera taking some shots off, getting dealt some heavy damage. They're going to have to find an approach there. There's a nice gateway pad ready for the rest of Luxury to come up. They did get over there without really any damage being dealt in their way, so this is a good approach, but they still have a little bit of a battle. But what is this? Busy going down. This is their opening. This is their time. They need to go in there. They need to get in there, but look at that. Busy brought immediately back up. The engagements are going off. S2 sadly went down. Byron went down, and Aguilera went down as well. Wow. It's something to say about Envy's just master class on how to dive and swarm a team. It's so just, I'm going to say it, it's sexy to watch. It's so cool. It is a perfect way to just delete a team and really bring the pain.
Yeah, I want to give it up to Byron there. Great shots coming out of the BFR to bring down Busy. But man, Stu J just in such a good spot to cover his team. Waiting for, he knows Luxury is going to make the push as soon as they get that pick, and Stu J getting lots of shots in as they try to pad over to protect his team there. As we get another fight breaking out over the box here. A little bit of damage come out, immediately gets healed up onto SCN. Busy taking a little bit of damage here. Ends up dropping down, doesn't want to take this trade quite yet. S2 taking a lot of damage from Stu here. Stu almost ends up going down though. S2 a little bit far away from his team, so he's not going to quite get healed up yet. He's got Gen. He doesn't have a lot of time. He drops right into the crosshairs of Stu J. Stu ends up getting that pick off, and now Envy has control of the high ground all up there. And Luxury's gonna just try to get that res up, which they do, but Envy still holds the high ground.
Yeah, the high ground is so important, especially in a map like Bernal where there isn't a ton of it. So they're holding on top. They know that Luxury is right below them. Busy has that RPG out. Stooge already got 1 kill. There's a second one. They do return and get a trade, but surely S2 can't find the last 2 kills as they just dive on them. They're going to get the long res. Busy will get his teammate back up, and they'll get the vault, bring it over. We got a clip from that last one. Look at this dive onto them. We see the setup, and then it all just explodes in a moment as there is the RPG getting 1 kill, 2 kills, vault going off, and finally getting it. The last one chasing him in there. Boom. Deleted.
Yeah, Stu J just, again, with just really, really good positioning. Stu just continuing to prove why his name continues to be in the hat as one of the best lights in the game.
Oh, without a doubt. He is one of the best lights, and he's holding on to that title quite proudly. It's unfortunate that they're going up against it in Luxury. Man, that last approach felt desperate. It felt very uncoordinated. They just kind of rode in there, got picked off 1, 2, and 3. They need to find a better approach, but what do you do when you're just going up against a titan like Envy? And just, again, cool little cash out manipulation there we saw as they put a bounce pad down and then winch it across, sending that thing flying, zooming into Busy, as he's got 4 kills without dying as well. Can he hold on for a little bit longer as we've got this cash out almost halfway done? Luxury making their approach. Aguilera throwing some red barrels, trying to poke and prod, find some information, but really not finding much.
Yeah, Envy just doing such a great job at controlling the high ground always. They're always up there, always looking at every angle. Like you said, manipulating that cash out box, putting it in such a tough spot for Luxury to get into, wide out in the open there. Luxury trying to pad up on there onto Busy, though, taking a lot of damage from the RPG, but ends up getting the dome shield off and getting healed up there. Still a lot of damage going out, though, but they're going to maybe end up turning this fight, but Byron ends up finishing him off. Busy ends up going down. SCNs end up turning the fight with a punch to the face of Aguilar, but gets immediately traded by S2. Now it's only Stu, and he's going to have to try to stall this point up by himself. There's not a lot of time up here. He does not have time to get his team. He's going to get lots of headshots, and he's going to end up taking out Byron, but he goes down. There's still time for them to flip this.
They have just enough time. They got on there at a perfect amount of time. They're going to get the flip. Oh, wow. My God. We have a match. Luxury somehow broke through the crazy defenses of Envy. But the real question remains, can Luxury find it one more time? Even getting one single map on Envy would be an amazing feat for Luxury. It really would define them as amazing players. So I am hopeful. I loved that execute. They did it well, but can they do it one more time? But I love it. We're going to 3 vaults, 3 cash outs. Could you ask for anything more?
Yes, another big fight ends up coming out. Busy ends up running in there with a big RPG play, ends up taking out Byron and S2. But now it's only Aguilar trying to get out of there, but ends up going down. Also, I just want you guys to give it up for Luxury taking a box on Envy. We were talking so much about how Envy on paper is so much of a great team, but Luxury is not backing down, and they are proving to us that they just have a spot in this fight as much as anyone else does, and they end up taking a box.
Yeah, they deserve to be in this league, and we're seeing why. This is a very tough battle, and right now it's going into probably the toughest cash out, in my opinion. It is the opportunity to drop down into the cathedral or be winched out right into the most open area in the entire map. So with all of that said, Luxury, they have to show us that they can do it one more time. Aguilera starting the approach, going at the bottom, going up the stairwell, has a gateway, but the rest of his team isn't around him, so he's a little bit on his own. But this could be a good opportunity to get a pick or find something. Breaking those windows surely gave a little bit of information away to Envy, but this is a very slow approach. They know what's at stake. They know that if they play this right, they'll be able to take map number 1 out of the hands of Envy. And here we go. Gateway going down. It is at some height. Red barrel in the hand of Aguilera. They're making their approach, but no, they fall off. Surely that was not what they wanted to do. Bounce pad sends him down to the floor as well. Luxury seems to be crumbling around on this approach. They need to change something up right now. Aguilera trying to bounce away. Getting some shots off, but now at half health. This is incredibly slow, Dread.
Yeah, it's such a hard point to fight into. You know, I give it to Luxury for trying so hard to get in there, but it's such a hard point to get into. They ended up all going down now to Envy, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of time left at the point when on. But Aguilar doing such a great job trying to find an off angle there. It's just not quite enough for them to really get in there.
Ooh, and look at that Stooge with 10 kills. Yeah, 7 assists. The assists really tell quite a lot of the story as well. They stay so close together as a team. And yeah, there's the timer. There's the 10 seconds. Luxury didn't even spawn close enough. They throw a little bit of red barrel, probably out of frustration. And they're still battling it out, ST, and just trying to find a last second kill. But there we go. Envy take map number 1, but that is totally to not undercut what Luxury gave us. They gave us 3 cash outs. They took 1 in a pretty convincing manner. So they have something there. They have something that they can fight for. But can they show it on another map? So we're gonna next one will be Sis Horizon, which I hate to say it, but Envy is one of their strongest maps.
Yeah, I just want to give props to Luxury again, though. I mean, coming from especially my point of view as kind of an average player, especially compared to these pro player guys, when you're playing against people that you know or you have a feeling that they're way better than you, the best
Mhm.
thing you can do is play with confidence and play like you are on their level and go in there. And it looks like what Luxury is doing. I mean, back and
Mhm.
up a fight, they're padding on them, they're getting in there, and I love to see it. And it ended up getting them a cash box. They still could take a map on them. We'll see.
Yeah, they still could. And, that's kind of what we're rooting for in the fact that they did put up at least 1 is impressive. We have seen some other play days that they don't even let, Envy doesn't even let anybody get a single cash out. So it's cool to see. It's a little bit exciting, but it's so impressive also on the other side of things to watch how Envy plays these maps. They play together like a team and probably better than any team in the league so far. It's just their communication is so on point, their movement, they move together. They just don't want to break. It's like a chain really kind of holds them together. And, I got to say as well, chat seems to love them. I see a lot of love for Envy in the chat. So I know that they are enjoying the show that we've been putting on or that they've been putting on for them so far because it's been quite fun. And we're going to see if they can take it in a 2-0 fashion as we load into Sis Horizon. We've got a nice little overview here, nice flyby animation, and yeah, it'll be all very exciting as we get started here momentarily. I don't know, chat. What are you feeling? Are there any Luxury fans out there? Is there anybody that thinks that we're going to take this to 3 maps? I'd love to hear your takes as we get started on Sis Horizon.
Yeah, Envy just playing so well together. They know it. Luxury, they make one little step out of position, they make one little mistake. Envy immediately pounces on that and tries to capitalize. But both teams spawning really close together. That red barrel actually connecting, getting a little bit of damage off on STN. He is going to get healed up a little bit by Stu though. Luxury's going to try to capitalize on this. I love how aggro they're getting a little damage off again. Immediately gets healed up. Dome shield ends up going out by Byron. Jumping over the wall, they're getting in there as much as they can, but Byron taking lots of damage as STN and Busy end up turning around. Byron ends up going down, but S2 is trying to get back in there. He can get down S2K. He does, and Aguilar ends up taking down Stu on the side. Now it's a 2v1 as Busy is going down. Lots of damage from Aguilar, and they end up getting the wipe on Envy in the first fight. Great plays by Luxury there.
Okay, those are some great shots, and we're going to get a replay of that. Busy being the last person remaining, just getting dealt damage after damage, and Aguilara gets the final shot on him. They only lost 1 person in that battle. Things are looking good. Maybe this is Luxury's map. Maybe they'll give us the luxury of a win today. S2 throwing down some goo, buying themselves some space, knocking over that cash out as well. It is getting plugged, and we're seeing the advance by Envy. They manipulate that cash out, throw it all out into the window, throw it out into the open street. It's a great place to be. S2 took a lot of damage, but immediately got healed right back up by that healing infuser from Aguilara. Both teams rocking that as well. Stu throwing a gateway. This will bring them over that goo. Good movement, good tech as well. But now look at this. All of Luxury a little bit down below them. They have an opportunity to kite this. This is getting quite intense as even Envy seem like they don't know exactly what to do because of how open that cash out is. And there it is. The steal is being attempted. Luxury don't seem close to it. They just let it happen. Envy just have the flip. What is going on? The engagement finally kicks off. There's one all on the shoulder of Aguilara now as he's not looking quite healthy and takes an elbow to the face.
Yeah, unfortunate from Luxury there. It looked like they did not have a lot of time to set up on that box. Envy ended up getting a really good, really close spawn, getting in there quick, and Luxury just kited a little too far away from the point. Just weren't able to get back in there and get that stall off, and got caught on the way back. Ended up getting wiped by Envy, but they still have some time on this box. There's about a quarter time left on this box. Luxury can get back in there. They got a pretty decent spawn. Envy does have the high ground though, and looks like they might know which direction they're coming from. Aguilar taking a pretty wide off angle here. They see Busy up there, getting positioned, taking lots of damage from Aguilar.
Oh.
Unfortunate RPG, just barely misses on the RPG there. S2 Gaming unfortunately ends up connecting on the pad, getting in there before his heavy can get in there. Byron just not able to get in through that window, unfortunately, and Luxury ends up going down.
Yeah, and I'm seeing this again, and this is kind of where we see the top teams versus kind of the lower teams, and it's how you move together as a team. What we saw there is Luxury made their approach, and they split up a little bit too much, and then it was one after the other. They just kind of died to not together. And as you're playing this, guys out there, that's what you really need to focus on. If your team is dying together, it means you're going in the engagements together. But if you're dying one after another, it means that you're going into this one after each other. And that is just not how you do an engagement like this, especially against a team like Envy. Moving things now towards a little bit of a rooftop battle, things are slowing down, but Envy is still in control of this vault, and I think STN just wants to run it. They don't want to bring this match out any further. They just want to try and end it here and now. They get the bounce pad over there. Luxury throwing some red barrels, but also taking some damage. Byron taking some receiving side of it, and Aguilara, goes against Stu J. Just not able to get that kill there. The bouncing going off. Ooh. They do get one trade back and forth. This would be a great time, but S2 very low in this, and Aguilara not in an easy place to grab the totem to get the res.
Yeah, Envy's still in a pretty good spot here, all linked up together. Luxury just trying desperately to rotate around here, using that goo barrel as a little bit of a moving cover as he's trying to get around there, but Envy capitalizing on him being low health and ends up pouncing on it. And Aguilar does end up getting that coin off, but he's way too far away, ends up killing himself to get that full reset off. And, you know, like we were talking about earlier, two as a medium, ended up taking that pad before a Byron. I learned that the hard way in real time, in ranked. As a medium, you never want to go in there before you're heavy. Shout out to Grad, teaching a homie, trying to get me as a better player. He told me in a lot more colorful words that you're not supposed to go first as the medium, and I learned it the hard way. Yeah, Envy really linked up and coordinated in those pushes, and STN and Busy, some of the best two duos to do it as a medium and heavy together.
Absolutely. Shout out to Grad's mom. And the approach now from Luxury going through here. The gateway, they're trying to go at it, but they took a lot of damage on the approach. Now they're going another way. This is a good thing to do, but as I mentioned before, there is the split up. Aguilar very away from his teammates, and if he goes down now, it will just put a final nail in the coffin of any attempt from Luxury to get a steal here. Busy, perfect height advantage. They drop the cash out. This might force them to push onto point, but that Titan hits hard, and can it connect? There's one, and there goes Aguilar with an RPG to the face. As I was saying, this is going to be a last-second dive from Luxury. It's not looking too good as S2 goes down. There's no more time left. Luxury put up a great fight, but in the end could not make it happen against the Titan of Envy. And Envy take it in 2-0, and sadly, 2 cash outs in that one. But wow, what a performance. There were a few moments there that I thought Luxury were about to take it in that first vault fight, but sadly, Envy is Envy, and they took it.
Yeah, got to give it up to Luxury, though, for putting up such a good fight, because Envy is one of the best teams to do it out there as far as coordination goes and team play. And they've been doing it for a while, too. You know, definitely an uphill battle for Luxury, but they played it really well, considering.
Yeah, considering everything. And so, Luxury, I hope that they go back and they watch these matches, they figure out anything that they can do to make that improvements. And I think that what's really interesting is that we've got teams that can aim. We've obviously seen that through all of the matches today, but what it's coming down to is communication. We're finding that the teams that can communicate, that can stay together, that can kind of find their way, especially when they get separated, are the teams that are coming out on top. So, communication is key, and especially in a chaotic game like the finals. So it's just turning into those teams that can really find their flow, and I'm kind of loving it. Group C, a really interesting group, really fun way to kind of wrap things up. But Dred, do you have any final thoughts on Group C before we wrap it up for the day?
Man, it's just honestly, all the groups today were so insanely close. It was way better than I thought it
Mhm,
was going to be. There wasn't really a lot of one-sided stuff, especially in the cash out. But
mhm.
yeah, we're getting some informations
For sure.
from production here. What were we saying?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to see the standings. Yeah, I think that we'll be able to. We still don't have points, gentlemen, so hold on. We will get them at the very end before we wrap up. But yeah, we had an amazing show today. Group A, tons of fun to kick things off, a little bit of a slower pace, especially in those 3v3s. Group B, total chaos, just absolutely unhinged gameplay. And then Group C, we had Envy, just kind of giving us the typical Envy show. It was a little unfortunate that they ended up in Group C after their performance on Wednesday, but that is how it goes. Those are the play days. We have made it towards the end of play day number 4. We'll have the final points all totaled up here in just a moment, but I'm curious how they all played out. And I guess that is also to say that we still have more play days ahead of us. I think that we go to 6 play days. So we have play day number 5 kicking off on Wednesday, and then number 6 on Saturday for the final week. I don't know how these days are just blowing by, and before you know it, we're going to be at the Grand Major, where a lot of the teams you've seen today on the EU and NA side will battle it out for not just $1,500 like we've got here, but for $100,000, which is just an enormous amount of money. And I can't wait to see that get pushed into the finals community. But yeah, we're kind of probably going to wrap up here. Let's see if we don't have the final points. I think that we'll just kind of go with it, and be sure to check out prohubs.tf for all of the standings on there. But my name is Rio. We're gonna wrap things up. I have been casting with Dred, do you have any final thoughts for today before we end it?
No, I just want to say thanks for being here and shout out to production in the background. They're always putting in so much work to get these tournaments out here for you guys. It takes so much work. I couldn't do it. My brain is not big enough. These guys in production are amazing. Shout out to you, my co-caster, doing an amazing job, and all the players for PHL too.
Absolutely. That is a great way to end it. Thank you, all of you wonderful viewers out there. We hope you enjoyed Playday number 4. Be sure to tune in for Playday number 5, because the action doesn't stop here. I am Rio, and I will catch you around next time.
Don't give up, don't give in. We're all the same here, we fight to win. You push us back, then belt on goals. We're all the same till our statues fall. And we lose it all, and we won't back down till we lose it all. In the belt on goals. Tell me I'm the one that changed your mind. Maybe we can still do this thing